Hey people, welcome to Roll20Con, 2 days of gaming for charity. We're going to be playing a whole bunch of games the next few days, including Kids on Bikes, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and even a game creator panel. In preparation for a special announcement happening this weekend, we designed this cool shirt. All sales benefit takethis.org, and you can pick that up now on Teespring, but you gotta hurry. It'll only be available until October 18th. Speaking of celebration, we've also decided to unlock dynamic lighting on the site. So, if you've always wanted to try out dynamic lighting, tag your game with Roll20Con, and that feature will be unlocked for you. We also have an exclusive art pack that some of our favorite creators put together. That's available on our marketplace with a donation to Take This. Next up, we got Call of Cthulhu, hosted by Chaosium.
Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We are here on the Roll20Con stream and we're really happy to be here. What a fantastic convention it's been. Thank you to everyone who's come before us and thank you to everyone at the convention at large. You're all fantastic, so yay!
Woo! Yay!
We are the Chaosium team. We are here and we are going to be jumping into play some Call of Cthulhu. Let's introduce ourselves. My name's Jamie. I'm one of the Chaosium team members and I run the stream of chaos with these fine folks here. And Luke as well, who is coming in as a special guest, but I'll let you introduce yourself very better. Over on my right, very better.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Jackson. I'm a Melbourne-based actor. I'm also on the team at Campaign Coins. We make real metal tokens for your greatest adventures. And I run I help host a tabletop gaming meetup called Gamezilla in Melbourne. Come on down. Yeah. Oh, and today, of course, I am playing Jesse Williams, a history student at Arkham University.
All right, fantastic. And David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. My name's David. I'm also Melbourne-based. I work with Chaosium, setting up booths and setting up streams and things. And today I am playing Lois Russo, or Russo maybe, who is an engineering student and has joined this little foray to, I think, an occult library.
Pretty much.
Like
I'll get into the details in a second.
I'll leave the GM to the GM.
You're right. Yeah. Rachel.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm also Melbourne-based.
Wow.
Oh.
That is Melbourne, Australia, by the way, not
Oh.
Melbourne, Florida.
Melbourne,
Which we
Florida.
should clarify.
Named after our post office, apparently.
That's
Wait, what?
What?
Melbourne, Florida was apparently named after someone who really liked the Melbourne post office.
Oh, well, good for them.
That's actually amazing.
Use that post whatever, it's fine.
Anyway, I am a variety streamer. I play chill and creative games, and I am currently playing Keiko Kane. I am a science student, and my ideology is science. So
You're big on
I'm
it.
ready to get down and study.
Very exciting. Okay, and Luke, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Jamie. I am guest spotting today. I'm super excited to be here. I'm very new to the world of tabletop. I am a first-time dungeon master a few weeks ago over on my channel, twitch.tv/Mammoth Tales. It's TALES. And I'm long-time fantasy, first-time tabletopper. I'm super excited. There's a ton of numbers. But today I will be playing... not Wentworth, I'll be playing Bentworth Avery.
Oh, okay, there we go.
He's got a history.
A nice, interesting little change.
Yeah.
All right, so basically we are the Stream of Chaos team, and we stream once a week, and we are currently playing through Berlin, the Wicked City, the latest Call of Cthulhu sourcebook that is set on the streets of Berlin during the 1920s and 30s. We also have joining us Luke, who has already introduced himself and his wonderful channel, and we will be jumping into a really good short scenario that gives you an excellent introduction into the world of Call of Cthulhu and shows you the kind of stuff that you can expect to happen when you delve into eldritch horror. So, let's talk about Call of Cthulhu for a little bit before we jump in. For those of you who are not familiar with it, Call of Cthulhu is a horror role-playing game that focuses heavily on mystery and all kinds of spooky things. In this scenario, we will all be playing characters who, despite it not being written on their character sheets, have all had an experience with the occult before. we're going to jump straight into the action. We're going to start without a lot of the necessary lead-in that you get in a longer campaign, so we can give you what you crave in terms of horror content. So assume that you have all met each other before, you've all worked together, you've all seen something spooky, so when spooky things start happening, instead of freaking out and running away, you're kind of like, I know what's going on, I've seen this before, and I'm ready to get started. So, we're going to start this scenario. And I guess we'll get started pretty much right away.
Can I say I'm already scared?
Oh, fair enough.
Record time.
Exactly.
Well done,
We've done it.
Jamie.
Yeah, there we go. We're moving along. Tearing along. All right. And speaking of tearing along, we're going to start this scenario in a car. In a lovely 1920s top-of-the-line car. Driving along a road outside the city of Arkham in the state of Massachusetts. Now, the four of you are all in this car. Can I ask who has the highest drive auto score? Because they would probably be driving.
Let me
Oh,
have a
man.
look at my character sheet on Roll20.
Oh, I just went and go.
Roll20.net has all of
20%.
my information right in front of me.
Okay, mine's 20.
I have 40.
Oh, okay.
What?
40
Winning so
is
far.
40 as well, so we can just share.
Yeah.
All right.
You get the stick and I'll, yeah.
Okay, team up. Two of you are in the front seat, two of you are in the back then. All right, so this car has been driving along and you set out from Arkham probably a couple of hours ago now. You've got to remember that in the 1920s, cars weren't quite as fast. They didn't really tear along at the speeds that we're used to. So you've been bumbling along and, stopping every now and again to avoid large potholes that appear on the road. But you are making your way to a town called Bolton. Now, Bolton is a pretty small town. There's not a ton of people there, but you're particularly interested in one of your colleagues who runs an occult library in the city of Bolton. And in this library, there are all kinds of ancient tomes and mysterious scrolls that will be able to assist you in the various mysteries you are pursuing. But I'll tell you what, that's all irrelevant to this campaign, because this campaign is going to be set over one night. And your goal is going to be one simple thing: survive. Before we jump into that, as the car goes along, can you all please describe to me what your characters look like and give me a general vibe of them? Who'd like to start?
Me.
All right.
Alright, Lois is driving.
Fantastic. You've made the call.
She's dressed in the style. She has sort of like a flapper style dress, short bobbed hair which she keeps pinned up and back, and she's the kind of person that once she's behind the wheel, she is the only thing on the road. You need to get out of the way. If you're coming towards her, it's up to you to avert. So I've been getting us here at a healthy speed, and God help anyone that gets in our way.
Fantastic. All right. And what about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm Bentworth, obviously chilling at the back, old man in the back, and I am what Indiana Jones was to archaeology, I am to languages. So,
Fantastic.
I'm a languages professor, but I'm the cool one that all the kids want to know.
Nice.
So, you kids keep it steady up front, keep that speed limit below 60 mph, playing to American audiences. We don't use those in Australia, but you got it.
We'll figure it out. Fantastic.
Yeah, I've got some dark shady glasses just at the end of my nose.
Ooh.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's two. What about yourself?
So, I am buried in a book. I am not really interested in talking to anyone. I'm just going to help this campaign.
Yep.
So, Keiko is, I guess, small frame, bobbed hair, very conservative dress, like maybe pants and a sweater. And yeah, she's just in the back seat reading some scientific journal and ready to investigate, but wanting to find scientific explanations for things. That's her deal.
Excellent.
She doesn't believe in ghosts.
None of
She's
that.
not really a fan of this occult stuff unless she can explain it.
All right, and that's what you've been trying to do with this occult library stuff. We'll
Yeah.
see whether your views will be challenged. And finally,
Jessie Williams is a bright-eyed young student. She's kind of like in the front seat, gazing out at God's beautiful creation. as we speed along the countryside, did you say?
Yep.
Oh,
you're in
love
a
the countryside.
You're just starting to move into a more heavily wooded area as you continue along the road towards Bolton. It's getting a little sort of dirt roadier, a bit
Beautiful.
rougher. But there's these huge trees that are beginning to loom up on either side of you.
Oh, that's fine. The trees are nice as well.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like feeling the comforting weight of my father's old pocket Bible
Ooh.
in my jacket.
Okay, fantastic. So as the four of you are driving along this road, it begins in a pretty nice way. It's a road trip. You're all friends, or at least acquaintances, and you're doing your best to make conversation. Everything's pretty happy. The countryside around here is a little overgrown, but the sun is shining and it's pretty nice. After a couple of hours, though, things start to get a little more sinister. Bit by bit, dark clouds start rolling in and covering the top of the trees and shadowing everything like there's this great grey blanket that has been pulled across the world. As you continue on, not only does the light dim and the wonderful overgrowth and plant life that looked so positively wonderful in the daylight begin to take on sinister gothic overtones, but rain starts to fall. Thin at first, but then within a couple of moments, heavy, fat droplets are just splashing down, and your visibility is getting really, really bad. Can I get you to make a generic drive auto test
Yeah,
just as
definitely.
you go?
Just for my understanding, what time of day is it?
It is beginning to head into evening, so it is about, at this point, just around sunset.
Okay.
And this could be important. Where are we going?
You are heading to Bolton, down the road to Bolton,
And
a
these
small town.
cars are famously waterproof.
Exactly.
Alright, I've rolled.
Oh, you rolled.
Okay.
Oh, you failed.
I'm not far off though, so can I use 4 points of luck,
You
please,
absolutely
James?
can use 4 points of luck.
Okay, I'll have to sheety.
Okay, fantastic. All right.
Alright, so 4 points of luck, that brings my 44 to a 40,
Okay.
which is
A success.
a success.
So having succeeded your drive auto check, you're basically holding the car pretty steady at this point. You haven't stalled or gotten stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
As you continue though, the weather continues to get worse and worse and worse. You can hear the crackling of lightning overhead, and within a couple of minutes, you are driving through a storm. And there is just rain lashing the car. You can hardly see more than a couple of feet ahead of you in terms of visibility. The car is jostling and jolting around. What are you all saying? What are you all doing? How do you all react in this situation?
Well, this is you're the teacher, right? You're prepared. This is
Benworth-
your problem.
Benworth is sat back. He has not moved. He's looking around at you three freshies, going just like, I suppose this is freaking you all out a bit, but welcome to my world.
The world of languages.
The world of languages. It's amazing the places you have to go to get a good read. What are you reading, by the way?
I am reading I don't know anything about chemistry. I'm reading the latest journal entry in the Journal of Chemistry. They only have
Doing
one.
some homebrew. I
Yes.
like it. Side business. That's great. You're
All
not
right.
worried about the rain, are you?
No, it rains here a lot, I'm sure, and I trust
Lois.
Lois.
Hands at 10 and 2, mate.
Yeah,
Come
of
on.
course.
Yeah.
Benworth, where exactly did you say we're going again? Is it close or?
We're getting there.
You know it's a couple of hours away
Yeah.
still, so it's not going to be an easy trip.
Okay, it's a couple of hours, mate.
It's only getting worse.
Look, these old tyres in the water, you're going to feel a bit of drift. Just keep it steady, keep it straight.
Okay. I'm confident about. You seem.
All right.
It's God has blessed us with this wonderful rain. It'll be very good for the crops this year.
All right. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna forego any semblance of staying in the right lane. I'm gonna shift into the middle and start driving along the dotted lines. Hopefully, if something's coming towards us, they have high beams on.
Okay, fantastic. So you're doing your best to drive straight, kind of sticking to the law and sticking to the safety procedure as best as you can. But the rain is continuing to slam down upon you.
Can I mention to him that in driving in the water, do not slam on the brakes if you lose control. Try and steer out of it.
Okay.
Whoa. Who's got 40 drive auto here?
What's your drive auto score over there, Ben?
I've been driven around by a lot of people. Right? I'm an important person.
I've told a lot of people how to drive.
What people with sometimes 80 scores do.
Alright, well, you
But
sit
I
back
listen.
there, pop your sunglasses on, old man, I'll get us there.
Okay, fantastic. So, speaking of swerving,
Oh.
Speaking of slamming on the brakes, as you are driving along, all of a sudden, something pops up in front of you. And you have just a second to react. Out of nowhere, the rain parts, and in the center of the road, there is standing a figure, a woman with gaunt eyes, black hair, and she's just standing there dead still, looking terrified as the beams of your headlights approach. You have only seconds to react.
Jesus. And she's right in the center.
She's right in front. I'm going to ask everyone sitting in the front seat. So I want you to make a drive auto check since you're in control.
Yep.
I'd like you to make a spot hidden check. So if you spot this early, you might be able to provide advantage to the drive
Okay,
auto
so I'll hold
check.
off on rolling.
My roll is
Okay, so the rain parts in just the right way, and you manage to spot ahead. You see this figure moving, walking through the rain. You manage to reach out and you grab at the driver, who?
Yeah, I'm going, so I'll now roll with advantage.
Is an extreme success worth a, is like cry
Yeah.
out?
Just a single dice of
Okay,
advantage, I'm
alright,
afraid.
that's
Just
fine.
still good. That's what I'm giving you.
Okay, alright, I'm gonna swerve around, darting off the road and bouncing through the sort of grass
You
along the
didn't
side.
break. You listened to
Yeah,
Bedworth.
with advantage, that's a crit, baby.
Okay.
That's a 1.
Excellent. So with a crit, now when you roll a crit in Call of Cthulhu, you roll a d10 and you increase the statistic that you roll by that much. So your drive auto skill goes up considerably,
That's
having
about 5.
just... Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So make that adjustment to your character sheet. And the car skids to a halt, skidding in the mud and kicking up this great patch of earth, and it comes to halt right up against this person who is now standing there completely still. They almost have like a delayed action response, and they kind of start, but the car's already drawn to a halt. Their clothes are torn. They are not looking well. They look like they're freezing and they're shivering uncontrollably, but they're making no movement apart from that. And the car just sits now in the middle of the road. The rain is at its worst, pounding down around you.
I would get out and take my jacket off and go over to the figure.
Okay, you jump out, you open the door, you tear off your jacket, and you rush over. So this woman is probably about your age. She's pretty young. She's pretty scared, and she's not moving, but she looks terrified. When you get close to her, she kind of draws back slightly, but doesn't make any significant movement or commitment. And when you try to put the jacket around her, she's just docile and kind of doesn't move.
Oh, my poor dear. Would you like to come in and get out of the rain?
She doesn't make any movement. She doesn't really answer. Her eyes meet yours for a second. Can I get you to make me a charm test?
I
at
would
this
love
point?
to.
All right.
Charm.
So she, as we were driving along, she was just standing in
Just
the
standing
center
in the
of
middle of the road.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Wow.
As the rain part, are we currently in the rain part?
I mean, the rain is pounding down all around you,
Okay.
and the car is sinking. It's going to get bogged if you stay here for much longer. The wheels will end up spinning in the mud.
Would you be so kind as to chalk up another extreme
Another
success?
extreme success. Fantastic. Right. Well done. So you're pretty good at connecting with people, and you step forward and you really try to comfort her as best you can, and you see the slightest amount of color return to her face, and she reaches out and almost falls into your arms. Suddenly you're carrying her whole weight and you almost fall over. You start to move her back to the car. She's not saying much, but she whispers, "Grandfather, dead light, strange light," and then falls silent.
That's okay. We can sort that out for you.
What are the rest of you doing?
I was going to say I opened the door and stand by the car just to
Yeah.
sort of see what's going on.
I'm bringing her like into the car, or into
Alright.
the back seat, or into the
Yeah,
front seat, whatever works.
you bring her in. You sit her. It's a bit cramped in the back seat, but you can all fit in.
Is she still conscious?
She is conscious, but she's non-responsive. It seems like she's injured, possibly. You're not quite sure what's going on, but she's not making any significant movement. The tips of her fingers are turning blue, though. She seems to be suffering from some kind of extreme cold.
Does anyone have any first aid?
Yeah.
Character sheet.
I have base.
Oh, I totally do. I have first aid.
Okay.
All right.
fantastic.
Well, we need to warm her up. Otherwise, she's gonna get a cold. So, if she's got, what's it called when you hypothermia?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's pretty warm in the car with all 5 of us in here. So why don't we just shut the doors? Are we like? Do we pull over?
Well, we're stopped in the southern. Hang on, just a moment before we let this strange woman into it. Is
Okay,
she
but she-
awake?
She's still moving. Her eyes are open, but she's
Where are you from?
strange light, dead light.
Can I try and administer some kind of first aid to warm her up? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Make a
okay.
first aid check.
Okay, cool. Give me like 1 second.
And roll it here.
No, it's okay.
How'd you go?
Ooh.
So take the first one, unless it's with advantage.
Oh, no, I pressed the wrong one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That works. You just take the first one. So that's
87.
87.
87.
Oh, that's a fail.
Okay. So you begin
Hooray,
to...
yeah.
All right, so you can see that she's cold, you can see that she's in distress, but beyond that, you don't really know what's wrong. You start looking for a serious injury, you're expecting her to be in some kind of shock.
Yeah,
That, you know,
okay.
there's no great, wound that she's hiding or anything like that. She seems to be in some kind of emotional distress, and, you know, your first aid training does not extend that far, unfortunately.
So she's just cold.
At this stage, that is the physical thing that is the most wrong with her. Yes, she is very, very
she's
cold.
Just cold.
But you know, you've done the basics. You've got like a blanket out of the boot.
Yeah,
You
okay.
have a bit of an investigator's kit in the back. You have some
course
torches.
we
You know,
do,
you have
yeah.
an umbrella, which is going to be completely useless in this dead, horrible storm.
Have you pulled over, or are we still?
Are we in the middle of
We
the
are
road?
stopped. No, we are in the middle of the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please rectify that.
I'm gonna try and like lean in super close.
Yep.
And just try and catch her gaze.
Okay, make a psychology test for me.
Psychology.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well done. Okay.
Do
so-
about it.
Extreme. Let's short cut.
What do you
All
get for
right,
that
you're
one,
doing-
James?
Stop rolling extremes, everyone. You're doing so well.
This
Okay.
game's easy.
Exactly. So as you lean in, she does the same thing that she did with for you. She basically draws back ever so slightly, but you've got a keen eye, and like you said, you've seen the best of people drive you around, and you know you've seen all kinds of things in your life, and you recognize that the way she's moving, the way she's drawing back from you, basically indicates to you that she's been the victim of some kind of violence. She's been attacked. And she seems terrified, and she's unwilling to speak about what's happened. She seems just completely terrified.
Sorry, Karen.
You can also tell, though, that she probably hasn't gone that far. Wherever she was attacked, whatever happened, it can't be, you know, she hasn't been traveling for hours. She's been not that long.
Just quickly looking up through the windshield, can I see any obviously heavy rain, footprints, mud, where she may have come
Sure,
from?
make a spot hidden test for me. Actually, that might be a track test. Which I don't think, although some of your companions, unless I'm mistaken.
Fail.
Oh. Okay, so you glance around and you have a look at the mud around you, but you can't really see anything. Now, what you do start to get, and this is all of you, you all start to get this faint sense of being watched. This tension, the hairs at the back of your neck are standing up, and also, you're a mechanic, or an engineering student at the very least. You're looking at this car saying, we've got to get moving now, or we're going to get bogged. You can't stay on this dirt road.
Look at this woman. She's clearly what I'm going to say. This rain's only getting worse. Are we moving on? We can't just leave her here. Is she coming with us?
We can't leave her here. No.
So can we... Do we need to go and look for something?
You throw her out and she's going to die.
No, so we'll just leave her in the car, but is she coming with us?
Well, there has to be some kind of highway town not far from here.
We should at least
At some point.
find out.
Last road marker we saw was sort of 10 miles
Well,
back.
she's going to come with us. We can't turn her out.
Okay. I'm not suggesting we do. I'm just getting a census.
She said something to me outside. She said her grandfather is dead. She's been through the wars. We have to do something.
Okay, all right. Do we want to keep going? See if we find a house or something? If they've got to turn off, they'll be along this road, right? So if we keep going, keep it slow, we'll look for signs.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, you all load back into the car, and it's no small effort to get out and moving again. As you start driving along, this storm is getting worse and worse and worse. There are branches on the road that you are having to stop. You're crawling along at a really slow speed as the rain just lashes the car. The whole thing is basically shaking with the force of the wind. As you continue further and further along, you're just starting to get worried that you might not be able to drive very far at all. You might get stuck when at last you see up ahead, through the gloom and the rain, some lights up ahead, the lights of a rest stop. Now, you are all kind of familiar with this area, and you know that there are gas stations and cafes that line this road usually.
Yeah.
It seems like you've reached one of them, and you can see the lights. Would you like to turn off towards it, or are you going to risk to continue going?
Indicator on.
All right.
Yeah, and presumably, regardless of if this is where she came from or not, these people might know her. So yes, I'll pull in.
Fantastic. All right,
Love
so
sandwich.
you pull down on the side road and you begin to roll up towards the cafe and gas station. The road is a little better here. It looks like it was properly maintained around the gas station itself, so it's a little easier to drive, but not for everyone. As you get right up to the entrance, you can see that there is an entire animal transport truck that has flipped onto its side. Its trailer is gone. The cab is still upright, but the axle that would hold the two together has like broken, snapped. The door is wide open, and the inside of the truck is exposed to the elements. Rain is just lashing it. You pull in, and you manage to get around the edge of the truck and under some cover. The rain is finally off your heads, and you can see inside a couple of figures moving around inside the small diner gas station that's set up.
So the lights are on and people are home.
When we pulled in past the truck, were there any animals that we could see
were there
inside
animals inside?
No, you can't see any
Okay.
animals inside. It
Wait.
looks like it was just maybe they're all gone,
Maybe
but
they left. Oh.
you...
Bears.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we're going to fight 200 sheep.
Exactly, right? No, you don't see anything like that. You do see, however, that there is a large sign at the front of the cafe that says Orchard Run Gas and Cafe.
Okay.
The lights are on, surely. If they're local and she's local, then someone will know her.
And we need to get some hot food in her to treat her hypothermia ASAP.
And it's a university trip, so school's paying.
All right, fantastic.
Dig into a lot of cash.
Now, everyone on the stream will be able to see that I've got my wonderful gem notes up here.
Gem.
So we're going to get a little
Oh,
bit
I
of
can't see
dramatic
those.
irony on. Yeah, don't look that way. We're going to get a little bit of dramatic irony on here because you'll be able to see what I'm going to be putting these players through. So get
It's
excited.
in my
no.
periphery.
And it's bad.
Can I just say I'm still scared?
Okay, fair enough. I'm very happy to hear that.
No, we found a safe, lovely restaurant with
You've
no
met-
cannibals in it.
Bentworth
We're
is
good.
bloody fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Luke is scared.
Luke is
Okay.
worried.
All right. So you all get out of the car and you begin to wander into the restaurant. Who is this woman? Whoever she is, can't walk by herself. So who's helping
I
her?
would stay with her if I was in the back. She's in the back seat with us, yeah?
Yeah, she's- yeah.
I'd definitely shoulder her.
Okay, so the two of you
Shoulder
are
edge.
helping her in. All right, fantastic. And the two of you are walking up.
Can
the
I
front.
can I take a moment to as you go towards it, I'm gonna step around the car and I just want to do like crouch down in front of the engine, car mechanic stuff. How's she
Sure.
looking?
Make a mechanical repair check for me.
You got it.
Whilst he's doing that, can I discern, is she dressed like maybe she was awoken? Or is she dressed to be out in the weather that she was in?
Good call. She's definitely not dressed for the weather she was in. She's not in.
Too.
Is that another extreme?
No, it's a fail.
Okay.
I like how I get the pop up so everyone can immediately see your failure.
So she's not dressed in a coat, she's not dressed in any clothing that would be protecting her for this weather, but she's also not dressed in like a nightgown or anything. You would expect
know.
that she was probably just at home and had to run out or something
Right,
like
yeah.
that, based on your analysis of her psychology.
Can I try to get a name out of her?
Certainly. Make a persuade check for me as you begin to try and coax her. You've leant down, you've had a look at the car. It's fine now, you think, but it's so slicked with rain and mud that you're
Yeah.
sure at one point you're going to turn the key, you're going to try and turn
That's
this on,
gonna
and it's
happen.
not going to start.
All right, I'm gonna just sweep off, get a bit of the mud and stuff off the front, and then I'll go join Kiko heading inside.
Can I have another go at charm instead?
I'm afraid this is going to be a persuade. You have charmed her as best you can.
Hey there.
She is clinging to you pretty strongly,
Well-
and all she's doing is whispering again, dead light, strange light, grandfather.
That's a very interesting name.
You try to coax a couple more words out of her, but she seems pretty catatonic. She is refusing to speak. All right. You walk into the diner itself and come in, and you are blessedly greeted by some warmth. It's actually pretty cold outside, and those of you who got out of the car to assist this woman are now soaked through, and you find that you're actually shivering a little, so it's really nice to get inside to the warmth.
Is there a heater inside?
It seems like there would. There's like a heater out the back or
Move it to
something.
that.
Yeah, you can't see it, but there's
Oh.
but they've got the area.
They've
is
got
heated.
something.
They've got
Yeah.
some kind of hidden
All right,
heater.
let's start an hour-long search for the heater.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you sit down. You can smell brewing coffee, which is a very welcome smell, and you begin
Nice.
to bustle in. So there are a couple of people that are sitting around in the diner. First of all, there is a man sort of lurking at the back. Behind the kitchen. He looks like he possibly owns the place. He's this kind of very fat-faced man who is looking down and refusing to meet the gaze of this really big guy, muscular but also fat, dressed in a flannel shirt and a pair of slacks and muddy boots, who is leaning at the front of sort of the bar counter where coffee would be served to. And he has turned it into a regular bar in that he has a flask that he has placed on the table and he is Irishing up his coffee real nice. And he is ranting. And he's, and this storm, who's gonna pay? Who's gonna pay for my truck? Anybody? Is anyone going to help me out? What about the little guy? And he's just howling and continuing. No one else is talking to him. You can also see in the corner, attending to sort of a prep station, there is a blonde woman who looks like she's some kind of waitress or worker at the facility. And then finally, there is a couple at the back, both in their mid-70s, both looking very kind of cozy and looking out. You hear the woman of the couple, when there's a particularly loud crash of thunder and lashing of rain, she leans in and goes, "Oh, look at the storm, Teddy. The angels must be crying." And leans back and he kind of just nods, not saying anything.
Bless.
So you're immediately making friends.
Well, I think I'll be going to the waitress and asking her for assistance.
Okay.
So, excuse me, miss?
The waitress sort of looks up, sees the collection of you, has a flash of concern in her face as she realizes that you've come in from the storm. But then that exacerbates very suddenly when she realizes that you've got someone with you who looks quite injured or, in no state. She goes, look, sit down, please, and it hurries you into a booth. She looks at how cold everyone is and quickly sort of runs back and grabs a hot pot of coffee and tea and begins kind of rushing it over.
We found this young lady on the road. Is she a local? Do you know her?
Yeah, her name's Amelia. I know her. We all know her. She's and at this point the large man who was at the bar who was drinking kind of turns around and kind of goes, "She's weird. Looks like it finally caught up with her." And he knocks back a large thing of coffee.
Sick.
See, and then he kind of leans back. "I'm not strange, and I'm better for it, I'm a good, God-fearing man." He just launches into this rant about everyone, just going off. And he's not even checking if you're listening. His voice is just bouncing around.
Cool.
What are the rest of you doing?
I would like to, or what's the soup of the day? I'm going to ask the waitress.
There's a pumpkin soup that is available.
Can we get two of, do you want some soup?
I'm more incensed at this man right now.
Cool.
Right.
Can we get 2 pumpkin soup?
The waitress, who introduces herself as Mary, kind of nods a few times and then says, all right, and hurries off, doing her best not to look at this large man who is just ranting loudly.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you because I'm pretty sure you're gonna come to words with this man. What are the two of you doing?
Well, I was going to approach him.
Okay, so the two of you are going over there.
I'll sit with Amelia while we're waiting then, and I just want to keep an eye out. So can I just get a little scanny, see what people are doing?
Okay.
Just if anyone tries to sneak off or something.
Absolutely. I'll get you to make a spot hidden test.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the two of you approach this man, and he nods and sees you all come forward. He looks at you in particular, his eyes kind of just blurring over you, basically. And you get an immediate, this guy's an asshole vibe from him.
Yeah.
And as his eyes lock with yours, he sticks out his hand, says, nice to meet you. Name's Jake.
All right, Jake. You look like the most amazing man you've ever met.
I'm going to make him roll something to see if he gets that you're being sarcastic. There is a significant chance that he won't.
Bring it on.
All right, let's have a look. I guess this will be an intelligence test. Oh, his stats are not being recorded here, so I'm just going to go back to his bio.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Please do.
Yeah.
Give me just one moment.
Yeah, this guy. This guy.
This was the cafe owner.
This is the guy
this
like
is
the
the
slightly
animal
intimidating.
sheep
Who's
man.
the trucker?
Yeah,
He's
the
lost
hostel is-
he's lost 200 sheep, or cows, or pigs, or ducks. People farm ducks.
So,
I don't think so.
so he looks at you for a second. His eyes narrow, and then he goes, "I am. You get me. You know, I thought you were, you know, an academic," and he says the word like he's just spat on the ground. "But I bet you're an alright sort. You want a drink?" And he holds up his flask. He's swaying a little bit at this point.
Yeah, I'll take it. Wipe off the top a little bit. Keep an eye on him. You gonna be alright?
Well, so long as the government pays for my truck, I'll be fine. And then he just launches into another rant, continuing.
Well, and I'll slow him down and ask how he knows Amelia.
Her? She's one of the local kids, I'll tell you, around this area. A lot of them, criminals or weirdos, every single one. She's one of the weirdos. Her and her weird grandfather live up in a cottage, maybe just back there a bit. You could see it from here if it wasn't for this blasted rain.
Well, sir, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your voice down. Her grandfather has just died.
Oh, well, that is sad. I'm sorry for your loss, ma'am. He kind of yells across the entire place. She shakes a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, other than the government dumping rain on us, like, obviously they're responsible for everything.
You get me.
What? Have you ever met her grandfather? Like, you sound like a man of the world.
Yeah, he works as a doctor sometimes. Does a little bit of work for the locals around here. You know, best one we've got if we don't want to drive all the way down to Arkham.
You're right.
So I've run into him once or twice.
Give a glance over this way.
Well, if you could give us directions to his house, we could deliver Amelia back safely.
Well, it'll be a hike, I'll tell you. It's up this hill, and he kind of just points loosely out the back.
Into the
of
rain.
Into the rain.
void.
Pretty overgrown path, easy enough to slip in during the day. You'd want to get some torches and make a trip out of it. Don't freeze to death.
Obviously too hard for a man like you, eh?
Oh, well, you know, I've got my priorities straight, and he holds out his hand for his flask.
Yeah, I hand it back. I haven't drunk from it, by the
Okay.
way. I only wiped the top.
He doesn't seem to have noticed.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think you
you've,
would.
you've endeared yourself to him.
Yeah.
So he pours this. Do you have anything else you mentioned to him? No. Not
good.
worth your time.
Yeah, I've got the directions. That's all I need.
Okay.
Well, philanthropists like you obviously got some equipment in the cab. I can bring it back in a couple of hours. Would definitely help.
He frowns for a second. Make me a persuade check.
Hell yeah. I remember that being pretty good. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Hard.
Oh,
Ooh,
fantastic.
nice, very nice.
He kind of looks at you and then kind of shrugs, says, "Sure, no one else is going to use it, I guess. I've got a heavy coat, bit big for you, but, you know, tell you what, just in case, you can take my shotgun under the seat.
Now we're talking.
Just in case something jumps you, you know? There are beasties out here still. We're not like you city folk. We still have to wrangle with nature."
Yeah, you're pretty hard, I can tell.
He burps loudly and then goes, "Yep."
Beasties like the ones that were in your truck, perhaps?
Oh, no, they were. And I was coming back with an empty load, thank God. If that had flipped with a bunch of livestock in it, there'd be a lot more mess on the road, I'll tell you what. Although in this rain, might have cleaned up by now.
So, Game Master question. How long have I known everyone?
We're going to say that you know each other pretty well. You've probably been on one or two adventures.
So I would know that who would be better off holding that shotgun.
You do. You assume that you trust each other and are able to get
Fantastic.
a basic vibe on each other's skills.
Well, I make a beeline for the cab on hearing there's a gun. I'm super excited about it, but not so sure on my aim. Who would I hand it to?
Well, I've got it's a shotgun, right? I've got 25.
I got 25.
25.
I want it.
What have you
What
got?
have you got? So my
I'm
shot.
confident.
So my shot is as good as anyone's.
You're not none of you are trained shotgun aficionados.
But
it
like,
seems.
the mechanic would be the best shot at
Mechanic?
keep
Is
hold
it-
of
is
Engineering student
Engineering
with some
student.
mechanical knowledge. Yes.
Okay.
With a gun.
Well then, yeah, I would definitely hand it over.
Alright, hell yeah. Well, sorry,
Okay.
and also while they're talking there, if I'm next to Amelia, does she mention this deadlight thing or grandfather?
We'll jump into that in a second. I'll just tell you. So it's out in his cab. You can go get it when you'd like to.
Is there a torch?
He doesn't mention one, but you have some torches in the back of your car if you need them. Back at the table,
Yep.
you were sitting down, and how did you go on your spot hidden check? By the
I
way,
failed.
You failed. Okay, so you can't really. You're still getting that sense of unease.
Yeah.
It kind of faded when you drove away, but it is slowly coming back. And indeed, Amelia still is saying the same kind of thing. She is muttering, "Dead light, strange light, cold light," again and again and again.
I'm gonna I don't know, I don't have a torch on me, but I'm gonna just gesture at the bulbs in the ceiling, and say, "A light in your home?"
Light came out. My grandfather. It's a dead light.
It came out of your grandfather.
She starts to kind of cradle her arms. I'm going to need you to make a persuasion test. Now, functionally, you've pushed her pretty hard at this point.
Yeah.
So this will functionally, I'm going to treat this the mechanic of pushing a roll. So the consequence of that is she might clam up completely or freak out.
I have a
if this
strong
roll
10%
is-
chance of succeeding, so let's just hit that button.
Is there a mechanic for pushing the roll? In,
Wow.
That's
13.
luckable. That's
Is it?
luckable. I'm
Okay,
spending 3
no, yeah.
points.
Okay.
Or I push it.
How many points do we have?
You have your
For
luck
this
points
session.
will be recorded on your character sheet, so you can find them.
Around
Oh,
50, I
20.
think.
it's right in the middle on the left.
Yep.
Perfect.
Alright, I spent 3 points of luck, making that a success 1.
Okay. All right. So you lean in. You manage to coax a few more words out of her, and she kind of, the light, it came out, and it was helping us. It stopped those men, but then it started to eat them.
Amelia, the light that came out of your grandfather, it stopped. There were people in your home?
They had guns and
Amelia, when was this? Today?
just an hour, two. And she kind of starts to cry a little bit,
Okay.
and you seem to have gotten a few more words out of her, but she's not. She's that's what you're gonna get. She's kind of
Okay,
resting
I'll
at this stage.
I'll lean her against the side of the booth so she can lean against the window. And when the waitress comes back with the soup or whatever, I'll place that in her arms and get her like a blanket or something. I'll just keep an eye on her for the time being.
She gets in her hands and doesn't seem to register. Brings it up, takes a small sip, and then something clicks, and she starts guzzling it down.
Oh, okay. I'm
fortunately.
actually really good at electrical repair, I think.
Okay.
Could I make a roll? I'm alright at it, sorry, I'm pretty good. Could I make a roll to be like, has she just like tased herself, or did the fuse box blow?
Surely that's.
I mean, you can make an electrical repair.
That's right, she talked about
Yeah.
light, and it could
Yeah.
be lightning, it could be that, she's just...
What a
Fuck
push.
It might. Wait till I roll. Oh, not a fumble.
You know when you get those thoughts that occur to you, and then a second later you're like, no, I'm just dumb.
Yeah,
You have one of
yeah,
those.
you look at her going,
You're like touching her to see if you can feel like static.
Yeah.
Hold on, I've got a voltmeter in my
yeah, stick that under your tongue. Oh yeah.
So the two of you have wandered back over from talking to Jake. You've been dealing with Amelia, and you've gotten the soup. Have you done anything else?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to eat it.
Okay.
She
You managed to coax her.
Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you what. You made a first aid earlier and you
Yeah.
didn't succeed, but functionally you continue to apply first
Yeah.
aid, and you are pretty. You sit with her and you're pretty sure that she is not dying. She's not.
Cool.
She's not in danger of death. She's okay.
Okay, so
and-
she seems like she's just been through a very stressful situation, but
Yes.
she's not injured.
You're exactly
Okay.
right.
Well, then are we thinking of investigating the house?
Well,
It seems like whatever's there is not physically I mean, she's fine.
there were people there with guns as well, though, if they're still there. And she said her grandfather's dead.
But
And then-
didn't she say something wild about the people being eaten?
Well, I mean, they could be that they were... I think something a little odd is going on. I think we should probably go and have a look. as well. And we see you coming in with a massive gun.
Alright,
So how drive girl, you've just become shoot girl.
now before we jump into that, something's going to happen to you while
Take
you
it
go
back.
out. Take that imaginary shotgun back.
Right, give me that fish.
So you've gone out to the cab to go and get the shotgun, and
Is
you've
the
kind of.
cab on its side?
The cab is still upright.
Okay.
The livestock transport section has flipped, and the axle that connects the two has snapped, and there's sort of torn metal kind of around there.
Yep.
You get up into the cab, and it's actually. Genuinely, the walk just out to the cab is enough to soak you through head to toe. And you are freezing, and you get in, you crawl all the way in because you're like, man, I needed to get out of that rain. You start fumbling around in the cab. It's not the loveliest of domains, but you manage to fish out your new weapon from sort of a small section under the seat. You can see a large coat. There's a couple of suspicious stains on it, but it's a coat. It's pretty big. Do you want to pull it on?
I will double check the pockets before I pull it on.
Okay. There's some loose beef jerky. At least you hope it's
Yeah.
beef jerky. And
Something
there's a
jerky.
couple of coins.
Okay, yeah, I'll pull it on.
Okay. You pull on the coat. You get the shotgun, and just as you're sort of putting it on the dashboard to check the ammunition for it, there are 2 shots in the gun and another spare 2 shots. You spot across the road at the other side of the rest station, on the woods side, a figure stumbling along and vanishing into the woods.
Is this near where this guy told us there was a path?
It is the opposite direction. to the
Opposite
path.
direction to
So
the path.
if the rest stop, and I could illustrate this really fantastically using this wonderful map. But before I do that, I'm just going to say, it's essentially on the opposite side.
spoils
So
right.
in front of you is this staggering figure, and behind you is the path up to the house.
I'll just look at him, or it. Another day in paradise. And back up slowly.
All right. So you get back out and you begin to hurry back,
Yeah.
slogging through the rain towards.
Make sure the safety's on the gun.
Exactly. No, you have 25. That's
I got
not
25,
something,
I know-
pretty
I know
decent
stuff.
gun safety. And as you rush along, you can't help but think as you're moving through this rain, whoever that was stumbling, they're going to be dead in minutes. This kind of rain, they're going to go hypothermic. There's no way, and you have that thought as you kind of go, maybe they need help. That does occur to you, and you can react to that as you wish. But you come in, and at this point, you walk in with the shotgun, and the 3 of you, having decided to go to the house, turn.
As the lightning crackles behind me and I'm wearing the coat dripping wet with a shotgun, do I look like a super old John Wick?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
Alright, Shrew
Who's
Samaritan.
John Wick? It's 1920. What year is it, by the way? Just because I forgot.
It is currently 1922.
20s and
Cool.
change.
1920X.
Nice.
We've been good Samaritan to one person tonight. If you feel like doing it again, you got an extra bowl of soup. Someone's
Why?
over the road.
Who?
Some stumbling someone. They look like they're on their last legs. We got like a minute,
But if
2 minutes.
But if
Oh,
that's one of the men that were up at the cottage,
They don't look like they're gonna fight us. They look like they're gonna die.
I mean, if they were close enough to see you, they would have been close enough to see the lights of the diner. They're avoiding it, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true.
Well, I'll tell you
Can't
what.
argue with your logic.
I mean,
You swap me that, I'll go anywhere you want. Gun me.
I'll give it a second thought. Alright,
Yeah!
So as you're
Take it with a little too much enthusiasm, and then check myself just put it on the table.
now, as you're
I'll also hand him the 2 other shots.
okay, as you're talking, Jake sort of can't help himself and comes over and looks at the gun and goes, "Ah, beauty, isn't it?" And launches into this like, I call her Darlene.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
We should go out into the
Yeah.
rain. Well,
Rocking a hard place.
The group of you get up, and you're heading out to look after this stumbling figure now, unless I'm mistaken.
yeah, I
yes.
think so. I presume we're leaving Amelia here.
yeah, I'll flag down Mary and say, make sure you look after her. We're just gonna go check on her house.
Oh, sure, I'll look after her. Okay. And you all walk out. and you suddenly out it's under the gas station shelter, so you're kind of walking across, and you get right to the edge. It's pretty cold just in the air. You're still sodden through, so
Do we have torches in the car? You mentioned we had.
Yes,
okay,
you
cool.
do.
I want to go grab. I'm assuming we have at least 4 of them.
Okay, yes. Matt, tell you what, make me a luck check, and we'll
Too
decide how many
easy.
you have.
It was in the
So
first
I
one.
roll twice.
The
pressed
first
the-
one's way better.
I pressed the button twice.
I'd take the first one.
Ignore this. I hard.
Okay. With a hard success, you will have 3 torches. So one of you shall be torchless.
The one with the shotgun.
You.
Go with a shotgun.
And I'll mount it under it. It'll be sweet.
Tactical. Nice.
You've got your own.
SWAT team.
Scope on this bad boy. It's like a shotgun.
All right. So you go and you fish out some torches. You give them a shake. The batteries are a little loose, but you manage to get everything together, and you hand them out, click them on. You are now well equipped, and as you are getting the torches, can I get whoever has the best spot hidden out of the collection of you to make a spot hidden test?
That might be me at 50.
I'm at
Let's see what can
52.
beat me.
I got 45, I guess.
But you're looking for torches, so your
I'm
your
busy.
spot hiddeners are otherwise occupied.
I'm worried about him with the shotgun, so you make the roll.
I'd love to. I've lost my character sheet. There it is. Alright, cool. Spot hidden. Let's give that a roll. See what happens.
Ooh!
On the money.
Wow!
Can't see.
You succeeded. Trust us.
Bang on. 50 on 50.
All right. So you appearing into the woods where you are pretty sure that figure was moving not too long ago, and you managed to see them again. They've now ended up quite a bit further up the street, and they're staggering along blindly, kind of flailing their arms, knocking at the rain as if it's distressing them somehow.
Still going away from the house? Direction of the house?
Now they're heading back towards the house, but it looks like they have no clear direction in mind.
Okay.
It looks like they're sort of just either lost or berserk, or you're not quite sure what's happened here.
I've spotted again. They do seem a little bit confused.
Okay, well, no time to waste. This kind of rain can kill someone in, like you said, minutes. So, which way were they?
You can spot them just there. So once it's pointed out, you can all see them. So
Okay.
you can spot them too. Great. You're tearing out towards them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so all 4 of you, equipped with 3 torches and the shotgun, tear out and begin going through the rain as best you can. Now, immediately you are drenched, just completely sodden, and rain is just pounding in your face. Anything that you do in this horrible weather is going to be more difficult because it is a force of nature, literally. You manage to get out into the middle of the road, and as you're looking left and right, you're praying that no cars come along. But how could they in this rain? You manage to get towards the figure, who at this point has collapsed onto their knees in the mud, and is like trying to get back up but keeps slipping and falling over. As you get close to them, you can see that they are I'm going to hit the show to players button to give you a demonstration of their picture.
Yes.
All right.
Give.
This is
Billy Esterhouse.
Ooh, wow,
young
those
man.
brows. Holy shit.
Really not bad, huh?
All about those eyebrows.
Bitch. Alright. Sorry.
You're putting the flashlight to good work. Carefully looking up and down.
Shadows on
Monitoring.
and he's looking pretty beat up though.
He doesn't. Yeah, he does
on
not
his
look
preppy
well.
outfit.
So you get close to him, and first of all, his clothes are just absolutely sodden. He's also wearing he's pretty well dressed for this weather. He's wearing like a heavy black coat, like a black kind of cardigan, long pants and thick boots with his pants tucked into them. He also looks like a little roughed up though. His hair is all messed. He has what looks like a bruise under one of his eyes and a split lip, and he's shivering violently. He looks so cold. He's so pale, which, with dark hair and bushy eyebrows gives him a kind of vampiric Twilight-esque. Oh, he's wonderful, but
Has he noticed? Does he recognize us coming up to
He
him?
sees you coming out and kind of looks up,
Yeah.
and he's just shaking, and sees you but doesn't make any motion to leave. He seems somewhat in the same state as Amelia is.
I'm gonna go give him the coat.
All right, you take the coat, and he takes it and he puts it on backwards. Just ends up sort of standing there, wearing it like a bib. He seems quite distressed.
But he's dressed for the weather, right?
Yeah,
More or less.
more or less, but not this severe. He's dressed pretty well, but this is one of those storms where it's getting to the point where if you were out in this, even if you were, you'd want to be in like Antarctic gear.
You wouldn't be out
there.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, don't go out in these storms.
Where did you come from, friend?
The house, and he's having to yell at this stage, and I'm going to bring in some ambience to build into that. Oh, it is good.
Should we just
As we're talking, do you want to
get him back to the
Yeah,
diner?
yeah.
I don't want to have this conversation here.
So
What?
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 No, we should get him back to the diner.
The what?
I said I've never looked fire.
You grab him and you begin to move back towards the diner as quickly as you can. Now, even this short time outside, I want everyone to make a Constitution test. I would have spared you from it because you've got this heavy coat. I'll give you
I
advantage,
gave it
but
away.
You've given it away.
I've got a con of 80. I'm
Hot damn.
buff.
Ooh, Rachel's done
extreme.
well.
Okay, so you're feeling fine.
Ooh, extreme.
Okay.
Can I spend 7 of my luck for that?
You absolutely can. Yes,
Yeah.
reduce your luck by 7, but you are okay. So you are all weathering the cold as best you can. You are all managing pretty well. You hurry back to the diner. And you come back inside, and as you walk in, you can see that the situation seems to have changed somewhat. First of all, the owner, who was kind of lurking in the back, appears to now be doing everything. They're running around and they're like moving things because Mary's gone. You have no sight of her anyway. And Luke is complaining that the owner is not doing things quick enough. Freshen my coffee again. He's getting louder.
He's the
and
drinking
louder.
bloke.
Yes, he is.
I have Jake.
Jake, sorry.
Jake.
I got mixed up. My bad. Luke is over here.
Hi.
Jake.
Luke is also shit-faced and making the rest of the diner.
I have had several whiskeys before the stream.
No, Jake is yelling and he's very frustrated. The couple in the corner have like shrunk down into their seats even deeper. And as you come in, you can see that clearly the heater has gone off or is broken or something. And as you stand around, the light occasionally flickers, and when it flickers, the whole room is plunged into pitch black, aside from the faint glowing of like a couple of stoves in the back.
I'd go back to Amelia.
She's
still here?
She's still there. She's just sitting there alone in the booth.
Is this what you meant by the dead light?
And you're pointing at the
light.
at the top. She kind of looks up, looks down at you, shakes her head, and then her eyes catch with the man that you've just brought in,
Billy.
and she begins to scream at the top of her lungs, cradling herself. She kind of falls back into the booth. In shock, Billy starts to scream as well. And they're just staring at each other and they're screaming. And Jake is yelling, shut up! And sort of gets up and turns around. The couple who are at the next booth over are sort of beginning to cover their ears. The old woman is softly humming to herself. What are you all doing?
I'll grab Billy by the ruff of his polo shirt or whatever he's wearing, and can we haul him backwards and away from Amelia? I'm just trying to break eyesight.
There's
Okay.
probably like a
I'm gonna
storage
put myself
room we can
between
shove him in.
them and
Amelia? Wait,
no, the drinking guy, Jake.
Jake.
All right. Okay. Fantastic.
This one's with my back to him.
All right. So you get between the two of them.
Yeah.
And fortunately, he doesn't seem to be getting too close.
Good.
And to be clear, you're basically staying with her to defend her essentially. All right. And as you all sort of scatter, you see Jake's eyes track and meet Billy's, and he suddenly like glares and goes, that kid, that's one of the criminals.
I'm holding him. What do you mean, criminal?
They're thieves, all of them. They're those ones. They're housebreakers. They've done it before. They've gone into my farm. And he kind of looks between the two of them and says, ha ha, look at that. I've figured it out. I've put it together. Have you? He's pointing from Billy to Amelia.
Were you saying that Billy tried to break into her house?
Oh, makes sense. He's criminal scum, that one. Bastard.
He's clearly just as affected as she is. Something's happened up there.
He kind of... I reckon he just needs a good slap to set him right. Don't you?
No.
You kind of
Yes.
lean in. Can you make me an intimidation check?
No one else said
Uh,
anything. We're not hitting people here. Oh wow, that's not high.
Good luck.
Oh, it's a fail.
It's a fail. Okay, so you step forward, you kind of shout in his face, and he's just swaying totally. He's completely blind drunk.
is he
his
drunk?
eyes,
Oh,
yeah,
I
his
can't
eyes are
tell.
unfocused, and
I don't
he
drink, so I
looks
don't
like,
know.
Have a picture of him.
It's illegal.
I'm going to
Is it?
grab
Yeah,
his.
it's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
during Prohibition. I've
Whoa,
just shared a picture.
dude.
I'm going to grab his flask,
Oh my.
Yeah.
and because I know that my persuade's there,
Yep.
mate, come have a drink with me. We don't need to worry about this shit.
Okay, make a persuade check.
Okay.
Do you want to show the picture to the viewers?
I believe they will have it up here, coming up
Very
soon.
good.
Oh my god. That's
How'd
a
you go?
fail.
That's
At
a
76.
fail. He grabs the flask and says, "I wish," and upends it. He's finished it.
Okay.
And you know there was a lot left. And he kind of tosses it to one side and it clatters loudly across the ground. First, that waitress runs off. Now you've got criminals coming along in here.
I'll keep step with him.
He begins to stride towards Billy and says, "I'll teach him a lesson."
I'll take a strike.
Uh,
I'll hit him in the back of the head.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
man.
So he steps forward, and you reach back. Have you grabbed a coffee pot? Have you grabbed any good striking implement, or are you just? It'll still be functionally the same mechanically, but
there's
just for flavor.
There is a really beautiful big antique salt shaker that I'm going to assault him with.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So what do the two of you do when you see your professor go and grab the salt shaker?
Just getting Amelia out of the way.
All right. You grab Amelia. You pull her back. What are you doing?
I'm just totally watching. I'm fine.
Okay, you're like at last about time. All right, can you make a fighting brawl?
Absolutely.
There it is.
There it is.
Yep.
That's a hard.
Ooh, hard success.
Well done. Okay. So you swing out and you ram your salt shaker into the back of his head, and I would like you to roll I would like you to roll a d3 for damage, and then I would like you to add your damage bonus, which should be contained on your character
I
sheet.
suspect it's
Is
0.
that it?
I would suspect it's 0 as well.
Yep. Just give it a shot, Luke. Oh, nice.
2.
Hey!
2. Okay. Now. There is a
But did you
mechanic in
add-
combat maneuvers.
Oh, hang on. So what did I need to add?
Your damage bonus. So
What
have a
is it?
look on your character sheet. You should have
I
a
don't
damage
think
bonus.
you have one.
I might not have one
No, you
because
don't,
I'm an
you
old
don't.
dude.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all right.
Cool, you
So
can
you're an older fellow. The salt shaker slams into the back of his head, and salt goes everywhere, and a great gash appears on the back of his head. He takes 2 quick steps forward. Now, fighting is really, really dangerous in Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's
If we would be going by the strict rules of how much damage you have done, he would spin around and fall into a wild rampage. But there is an interesting thing about combat maneuvers. And combat maneuvers in Call of Cthulhu are a really cool system where it basically says if you're trying to achieve a specific thing in a fight and it kind of suits narratively, you can push those things forward. So I'm going to say that you use the subdue combat maneuver,
Yeah.
and considering that he
He's
is
just a
blind
blind
drunk,
drunk,
you smack him over the back of the head, salt goes everywhere, and he spins around and he goes, "You think that..." Bang! His legs get out of the room and he lands with a heavy thud.
Wild.
And you can hear, like, Billy kind of sighs with relief. Amelia, who is sort of still cradled, even gets a little tense. And to your surprise, the old woman who's covering her ears goes, but at that point, the lights suddenly flicker out completely,
Oh,
and you're
neat.
plunged into darkness again. And while you wait for them to go on, all of a sudden, out the other side of the diner, in the distance in the trees, you see a brilliantly bright light moving through for just a couple of seconds, and then the lights come back on in the diner, and your eyes adjust, and every one of your natural senses, that feeling at the back of your neck, is
Yeah.
screaming, "Run, run, 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 run!" There's something deep within you, some primal instinct is telling you that you are in immense danger. But
I want
you're
to
back in
push Billy forward. What you do, you idiot?
we were just going to be a robbery. We just went in. It wasn't anything bad. We just went in, but then the gun went off, and then there was the light.
What did you break?
A box. We opened a box. The box up in the cottage.
Is that where it came from? This light?
It came out and it ate Cam. It just ate him. Oh god, and he kind of collapses and he falls onto one of the bar stools. I will need you all to make sanity tests at this
Hell
moment.
yeah.
You have become...
Fuck yeah! Oh,
Where is it?
I got
There
really
it is.
excited and then I... Oh yeah, where is it on the sheet?
Middle
it's
right.
just about.
That's one of the worst fails I could do.
Yeah,
Fail.
yeah.
Fail.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So on a fail, I would like you to roll 1d4 of sanity loss. On a success, you're just going to lose 1.
Hey, I got an extreme success. I'm fine.
Well done.
Wow,
Okay.
you know what? It's probably just like some kind of bioluminescence.
Exactly.
Maybe they
yeah.
have some kind of weird algae. It's nothing.
You're explaining
Can't
everything.
be
I would like to
wrong.
mention that this is the first time I've used
also slash
Roll20.
roll, slash roll.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've ever rolled a dice, and it was bloody easy because all the information's right there.
It's fantastic. You got it. Everything
So
you need.
thank you, Roll20. We see you.
Did you pass though?
I did not pass, and I rolled a 4.
Wait,
Okay.
what
so
did you roll?
I rolled a 2.
It was 67 was Luke's roll.
Oh.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was
I know, it was a 90 something, 92.
92.
Isn't that me?
Yeah, that's. Did you? No, I think. Yeah, I think you might have passed, Luke. Actually, I think.
Wait,
you
wait,
rolled
wait.
Looks like you rolled a 14.
Oh, mine's
Okay,
not-
yeah, the 92 is this one over here.
Okay,
Ha.
okay.
Luckily, we've got the records here,
Oh,
so we can
man.
see
It's not
everything.
in my...
No, dude, you failed. David failed. I passed. Jackson, you haven't rolled.
Haven't I?
No.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I knew that
Jackson,
was
you
mine.
rolled a d4.
Yeah, because I thought I
Yeah,
failed.
because you haven't rolled your...
Here is my
But-
sanity roll.
And now the,
I know you failed.
I'll take the 4.
the
Now-
timelines are merged. We're good.
While we're doing this roll stuff, let me share a couple more pictures. First of all, here is the lovely couple.
Jamie, there's like a... Oh no, it's come up now. Sorry. There was a bit of a delay before, but I think it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like streaming on one and casting from the other.
There
And
we go.
yeah,
Bullets.
wait, just hold
Oh,
on.
wow.
So that is the lovely old couple. A
Cool.
little creepy, a little odd, but there you go.
They
They're-
might die tonight.
They,
They're cool.
they probably will die tonight.
I like to think that her
You can
headscarf
save
matches the tablecloths, you know? She's probably worn it because it does.
Okay.
Because she has to dress, because they go to this diner all
For
the
the
time.
occasion.
So
Yeah.
they dress up for date night, of course.
Here is Mary
Oh, she's cute.
Hmm.
and somewhat less happy.
Oh, jeez.
There is
it's
Amelia.
Amelia.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I spelled
She's
her
not
name
doing well.
wrong.
Not a very happy lass.
Alright, we have to do something about this.
We're like, oh no, she might get frostbite when she clearly has a massive concussion and a huge bruise on her head.
That's mud, I imagine, which has
Okay.
probably been washed off in the rain by now.
Yeah, okay, alright.
All right.
The
So
lights go out.
the lights go out. You see
We
this.
see a light outside.
Do we
See
still
the
have
light
our
outside.
flashlights?
You still have your flashlights, yes. But then the light outside, you can't see it anymore when the lights come back on for a moment.
So in relation to the path, which way was the light heading?
The light is on the opposite side of the path, so it's back where you found that staggering figure,
And not towards the house.
not towards the house. So if you sprinted suddenly towards the house now, you would actually be going away from it.
Sorry. Oh, the light.
Yes.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
And we pushed Billy, so...
I would look to someone more sane to make this decision because I failed miserably.
Do we want to go to the lights or the house?
Well, whatever that thing is, it's... I mean, it's there, and it's here. This idiot let it out. He should come with us and put it back.
Didn't you just faint?
No,
We'll
that
drag
was-
him.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled.
He's holding himself. He's terrified, but he's
Okay.
still conscious.
I rolled that D4. Am I supposed to take that off my sanity?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
And off the
Thank you
60 or
very
the 99?
The 60.
60.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
I mean, do we think this is something that can be solved or put back?
I mean, if it's eating people, I'm not 100% a fan of going there, but I also don't believe it's anything. You know.
Well, now's the perfect opportunity to prove that wrong. Let's dive straight in, shall we? If there is something out there that needs to be recontained, then that's
you
what
really
we'll do.
are a freshie, aren't you?
Well-
Oh, shit.
The Lord has given me these tests, and I will rise to the occasion.
The Lord's giving you bupkis, mate.
The old woman at the side goes, "Oh!" as you
Was
say.
it the Lord thing or the bupkis was swearing?
Oh, it was both. It was both. She goes to get up, and her husband kind of.
No.
I guess. Alright, we need something. Okay, fine. If we're doing this, right, we need something to contain it. Right? Because it was in a box. We have to put it back in a box.
We should go to the house and get the box.
Logic.
We get the box.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
get the box. How far away was... Did we know how far away the house is if we were to walk?
She walked here in this rain. It can't be far.
It's not that far. You don't have an
Right.
exact
So did he.
idea, but you're guessing it's a shortish distance. The difficulty more is that it's going to be through the rain, and it's going to be probably pretty treacherous terrain.
No time to lose.
Well, and just looking around, I mean, he's done. I pointed the old Jake who's collapsed. That one's running a bar, and these two, well, they've got their own.
They're useless, right?
Yes.
We're the only four
Speaking
stable
of-
heads.
Speaking of bar runners, here is the bar runner.
Ooh.
Oh, this guy looks like he brews a really good
got a
ale.
bow
He's got a microbrewery.
tie.
Yeah.
But he can't tell you about it because,
Oh,
of course, it's
man.
prohibition.
I use bow tie in his hat match. And his suspenders as well in
But
my mind.
you said Mary's gone?
They're all
She's
tartan.
dead.
Mary seems
It's
to be
all
gone.
done.
Yes.
Where?
She's off to a party. That
You
ring
could
of
ask.
pearls
You
she
could
had around her
talk,
neck.
you could talk to
Jeez.
Sam.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would like. I just go up to the bar owner. Where did the waitress go? She was here. Where could she have gone? It's.
There's nowhere else.
I don't want to get involved in any of this now, so it's none of my business.
Did you see her leave?
Well, she went out. Can I get you to make a psychology test?
Yeah. Okay. Psychology. Oh, it's not bad. Oh, I pressed the wrong. Wait. No. Oh, I failed. Oh, I failed by one. I would like to lock it.
Okay. Use a point
If
of
you
luck.
say it faster, if you slow, he hits you.
Okay. So you as you watch, you basically see he's clearly holding something back, and he's really uncomfortable. He's, I don't want to get involved. He feels like you get the sense that he's worried about getting in trouble, but you also get the sense he's not really worried about physical danger. He hasn't really been. He's pretty happy in his cafe.
Yeah.
This is also his house. You get he's worried about something else. Possibly he's worried about legal troubles.
At
Okay.
a time like this.
Yeah.
He's not concerned about strange lights. Yeah.
Do I hear this conversation?
Have you had this conversation publicly, loud enough for us to
Yeah.
hear?
I'm sure I will.
I'll walk
fantastic.
over behind. Look, we did you a solid. We took out the dickhead. Can you at least give us one in return, mate?
Okay. Make a persuasion check with advantage because you were right. You did take out the dickhead.
Professor
Wait,
of
so
languages.
if I roll the purple one, that will.
Just take the first value.
If you roll the purple one, just
Oh,
take.
it's,
Well, with advantage, take the 2.
Well, I rolled it 84, 96 for.
You take the 84.
What are the three?
No,
numbers?
sorry. What it's done is it's rolled 3 times. You had advantage, so
Okay.
take the first 2 and then take the better. So you got an 84.
If you had like
An
2
84.
levels of advantage,
You
for
get
or
the 3.
That's no good.
So he's shaking his head. He's going, no, want nothing to do with it. Don't. He's kind of closing his eyes.
All right, I'll go wake you up
can-
then.
all right, I'm going to take that as pushing the roll.
Stop hitting people.
And it's going to be if you fail this push roll, he's probably going to kick you out of his place.
You still,
Alright.
get
Nah,
advantage,
get-
you
go.
still get advantage with the push roll.
Send
Okay,
it.
so I
We'll
just
get
hit the green one this time.
Yeah.
No, the purple.
No, go
Still the
purple again.
Still the
Purple's good.
one. You take the better of the first 2.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Extra.
boy.
Alright, so you lean in and you go, I'll wake him up then. He goes, no, okay. All right. Okay. That one, he points at Billy. And Mary, they were a couple. They had a thing going. She was
Wait.
involved in all the housebreaking and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
She probably knew something went wrong, and she's
gone to the house.
Or she's dipped.
Yeah, she's an accomplice, mate.
Wow.
No.
Inside
She
information.
might just be hiding out the back. Regardless.
I know the criminal types. They always return to the scene of the crime. That's where she is.
Do you know the criminal types?
I know
Yeah,
of them.
do you know the criminal
I read the
types?
papers.
You read the papers, my ass.
I'm writing a letter when we get back to university. I say, I don't think you should be a teacher. I don't think you're
I'd
cut
have
out
to
for it.
use all the words, right?
You have tenure, don't you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Does
We
not
can-
care anymore.
Whatever.
Doesn't care. Alright,
Okay, I think we should go, and I think we should go now. If
To the
she's
house?
going, yes,
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
only burning time, and this rain's getting worse.
let's do it.
Right.
We find the box.
Okay, that was
Flashlights.
an easy sense.
Shotgun. What else do we need? Do we have
Plucky
anything else?
attitude.
Excuse me. Do we have
Let's
anything
go.
else
Faith.
cool?
Plucky attitude.
all right. You've got
I
the
don't-
torches, you've got the shotgun that you retrieved. You could have a look through if you want to try and find some other equipment, but it'll be spending some time to search.
No, it's fine. Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Let's just go.
Does Amelia make any, I'd like to come?
No, she doesn't. She stays completely.
Should we bring her?
I think let's just leave her here at the
No?
bar owner.
She'll slow us down.
He'll
Okay.
look after. Oh, he'll. I mean, he can't. He's not going to throw her out
Okay,
to the rain.
alright. I think we should go then.
As we leave, I take the flask
Okay, you pick
And-
it back up. Yep.
and ditch it across the road.
All right. It launches out, and you see it arc into the middle of the road, and as it lands, you almost see it glint in some unseen light as is reflected in it. And you kind of flinch for a second, but then you're like, okay, I made it. You turn, you walk off. As you're all leaving, and
I'll
you're
take
heading...
the salt shaker.
You take
That
the salt
seems
shaker.
effective.
Take the weapon.
Why?
Right, so you go.
Okay,
the salt
sure.
shaker.
Oh,
has
one
been-
shot that guy.
The salt shaker's sort of rolled over near to where Winfred and Teddy Brewer are sitting, the old couple. And as you get close, Winfred gets up, the old lady, and kind of walks towards you. And she grabs your hand and she presses a small necklace crucifix into it and says, "You're wonderful." You clearly endeared yourself to her.
Wow, I wear it with pride.
Okay.
And I kiss it.
Probably not.
And then you yeet it across the road with the flask.
She nods and she sits back and Teddy kind of.
That was expensive.
That was the anniversary.
He sighs as his relationship is falling apart.
Can I quickly ask, our flashlights, could they also double as blunt objects?
Yes,
Are they
but at the risk of
big?
breaking them.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
We got
You've
3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got
3 shots.
You've got 3.
Alright, enough time wasting. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get to stepping.
So you come out of the main door, stepping over the now lying down body of Jake, kind of
That's
like over him and out. You leave Amelia sitting still. Billy kind of sits up at the counter and looks around. You see Sam has kind of ruefully admitted some kind of responsibility. And as you walk out, you see him point at Billy and say, "Now you stay over there. You don't go near her. You're wrong."
Oh, good for him. He's asserting his authority.
Exactly.
Nice.
And you come out and you walk back into the open. You scan across the street. You can't see this light. So you turn around. You walk along the side of the station now, and you start to head back. And you can see a small dirt road leading up into the nearby hills through the nearby woods.
I rack the shotgun.
Okay.
Hell yeah. I'm sweeping. I got, map the horizon. I see that light thing coming at me. I'm shooting it.
Okay, so as you begin to trudge through, bundled against the cold, moving as quickly as you can, a couple of things happen. First of all, I'm going to need a con check from everybody.
Yeah.
You get about 5 minutes in, and you're freezing, and you see there are fallen trees around you, there are flashes of lightning, you're
Whoa.
shivering violently.
Alright.
All good but Jackson.
I should not
hard.
have failed that. I have 80.
Do you want to use 11 points of luck?
I'd love to.
Oh,
Push the roll.
Hard success for me.
Okay, so all of you are managing to succeed pretty well, which is impressive. So you've used some luck,
I'm gonna lock that down.
but it
Yeah.
seems you know what, I think that's probably a good idea at the end of the day. And you begin to walk up towards this cottage as best you can, and as you can see that the trees start to get more and more like wilder as you head deeper and deeper and higher up into the hills surrounding this cafe. Now, the last thing I'm going to need from everybody is a climb check. You
Hell
actually
yeah.
get to the point where you are scrambling and like pulling up
Oh
on
man, we
roots
did
and-
not go the right way.
Don't phrase it like that. The last thing I'll need.
The last thing I'll need.
I
Wow.
Climb
Success.
check.
You
Hard
instantly
success.
died.
Okay, so you're pulling yourself over, you're throwing yourself up pretty easily. It's not too difficult for you.
Oh shit, hard success.
Okay, alright.
Easy!
Look at all that green!
Are you kidding?
What? What? What are you gonna
Oh
do?
my god.
Boom!
What are all your climb skills?
20!
Well done.
Take
my
that back.
So I'll get it. So can you? I mean, none of you are skilled climbers, but you just nailed this. Can you describe for me how it is that what does it look like as the party exits the diner and
A-team.
It's in slow motion.
Yeah.
It's in slow motion. And we've the lightning is so much so we get to see those crags and find good purchase.
All right. So you climb up.
I've got the
you
shotgun,
continue.
wedge. No, I can't go T. So I've just got it under it. Looking sweet. Oh, I was going to
Oh, you're one-handing it. You're
hell
you're
yeah.
one hand climbing, leaping, one hand climbing.
It looks sick.
I've wrapped the crucicifix around my hand, and that's
Nice.
guiding
Nice.
me.
You get a
Oh,
cool
nice.
shot where your hand is fixed there. There's a crucifix dangling a light in the bottom of the background.
Awesome.
I assess it and I find the most optimal path.
Yeah, of course.
Mathematics.
You got your
Geometrics
one of
numbers.
those surveyor's telescope things.
Sextant.
Okay, gotta go.
Right. And as you come up, you eventually manage to sort of find the road again and loop around until at last You arrive at the cottage. Now, we're going to do something very cool, and we're going to look at some of Roll20's new dynamic lighting features.
Dynamic lighting?
Now, we're going to use this right up to the point where everything goes horribly wrong, and then we're going to jump away from it as we dive into a focused action scene. All right.
Neat.
So,
Dynamic dead lighting.
What?
Oh, it's all a thing.
Leave.
It's all tied
without
together.
further ado, I have moved all of your scenes across.
I can see a black screen.
You should not be able to see very much.
Well, I can see nothing.
That is
Oh,
quite
neat.
alright.
Oh,
That is
shit.
because none of
Okay.
you currently
I
have your
can't see that,
torches
so
put
you
in.
can.
Oh, may I put it?
Now
put my torch on?
I'm going to call on my assistant
Close it.
over here
Yeah.
to
Close it.
help me out
Oh,
and activate
okay.
some torches.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, I'm moving.
I can still see nothing.
Jim.
Technology
So
2019.
so for everyone who is looking on stream, the player's perspective on this, and I have the GM seat, so I get all the information. You can see everything here, including stuff over here, which is particularly interesting.
That's all I
But
can see.
they can only see very thin beams of light that are coming off from their characters. So they
Oh,
are
you just
trapped
moved
and
me.
they have
I
no
did
idea
just
what's
move
going
you.
on, and we can
Oh, I'm not
get into
there.
things like that.
Where am I? 'Cause we've got.
Oh,
KK.
there's.
Oh,
there's
there I
you.
am.
That's you. Yeah.
Nice.
That's KK. Sorry, I got to sign
What are
them.
these numbers?
No, it's just.
Those numbers above your health and sanity.
Right, Nate.
Oh, that's handy.
Very, very handy.
I don't think I plugged them in. I did it for one of them, then I did the rest.
That's quite alright.
Yeah, so what we're seeing on our screens is our little portraits with a little
Yeah, Jesse.
flashlight coming out, illuminating just a tiny part of probably
Oh
what
my
the stream
goodness.
can see.
That's so cool.
Like a tiny part. I can just see.
So I don't have a light.
A
I got
door.
a sweet ass.
Exactly.
shotgun.
And this is
So-
all thanks to the dynamic lighting mechanic on
Oh,
Roll20.
Roll20.
Roll
Fantastic.
20.
So, as you are here, you have your torches ready. One of you has a shotgun ready. The rain is pounding down. You are exhausted and freezing, but damn it, you have not failed a single con roll. You are ready for this. You are prepared. You will add 20 skills in something and somehow all roll the hard success. Someone do the maths on that. The chance has got to be infinitesimal, but you're here, you're ready. As you breathe heavily, that feeling that you had, that feeling of wrongness that you had when you saw for a second a light flashing through the trees has come back, and you know that it must be nearby. But inside your hearts, as well as this terror, is this sense of resignation. It's here, and you're going to deal with it one way or another. So, there is a door right up ahead of you. The cottage is pretty small. There are a couple of grimy windows you can see to the left and the right. Where would you like to go, and what would you like to do?
Can, before we go further, I mean, it's hammering down. Am I able to hear anything from inside?
From inside,
Yeah.
make a listen check for me.
Yes, please.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. And we haven't got a torch over here, so.
Because I don't.
Oh,
have one.
Jim, you can show on the screen what we can see.
If you click on one of the players and hit Control L, it does play
fantastic.
perspective.
All right, let's do that. Everybody check
Was it doing
this out.
listen? Cha-chang. Yeah, no. Nah.
That appeared not to work for me, so let's leave that for now. But so you failed your listen
I
check.
failed.
Okay, so you can hear nothing from inside over the sound of just thundering rain.
Okay. I mean, let's hit the doorbell and go in. I'd like to get out of the rain
Doorbell?
at the very least. Yeah. Bing bong.
Just walk in.
Okay, so the collection of you all come up towards the door, and as you come in, you're going to be able to see move into the actual house itself. Now, as you come in, I'll just move. Cool. Would you please move everyone through into the hallway, please? Thank you very much. Now you come in and you are in a hallway. Up ahead of you, you can see a branching turn to the left. You can see a door immediately to your right that looks like it leads into some kind of sitting room or something like that. And you can also see another door further up, also to your right, that maybe would lead into some kind of dining room or adjoining place like that.
It's pitch black in here.
It is
basically, with the lights
absolutely pitch
behind.
black. There is no light in here, and it is freezing cold. If there's any kind of electricity or generator power to this place, it is completely off. It is completely gone. This is pretty much as if it had just been dropped in without any service to it.
Billy said there was a break-in. I'm looking for signs of a break-in.
Okay, make a spot hidden check for me.
Could I make an electrical repair check to think about where would I go to get these lights back on?
Sure,
Being
absolutely.
in the dark is bullshit.
Can you chalk up my third extreme?
Damn.
Third
It's like there
extreme.
aren't any other numbers but under 20.
Actually, interestingly, the rules of Call of Cthulhu state that if you roll 3 extremes, you go directly to jail, you don't pass go, and you don't collect 200 sanity. No,
I'm only on 2.
Okay.
Good.
Have to quit.
So with your spot in check, you can see by you can see that the front door appears to be completely intact, but that doesn't mean that they haven't come through a back door and torn it open or something like that.
That's what
And
I was thinking.
as you look around, you actually see some heavy kind of rain-soaked footprints, as if someone had been kind of running through the house in heavily booted feet. And judging by the little stack of shoes right by the door, that's not something that is normally done. So you managed to spot, definitely, there has been some kind of break-in here, or at least people who were not observing the rules of the house.
I will find the point of entry. Egress? Not
Egress, absolutely.
Egress or ingress?
Ingress.
Find the point of ingress.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna have to move through and head deeper into the house to find that. But first of all, with an electrical repair, you didn't make it. Okay. So you have no idea what you would do. You would presume that if there's a generator, it'll be in the basement or out the back.
That tracks.
Probably
Okay.
in the basement with this kind of weather.
Alright, with the gun, I'm going to be keeping it leveled, and I'm going to call out, hello?
All right.
Oh, smart. We need to do that. Yeah.
Good call.
Before we shoot the owners.
You yell as loudly as you can, and there is no answer.
Because there's no one here, we can't
Everyone.
hear anything.
Or if there's someone here or something here,
They're being
it's
very
remaining
quiet.
dead silent.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, I reckon we start opening doors, right? What are we looking for? A broken chest or something?
What?
We're looking for a box.
Or anyone that's been wounded as well. Hopefully we
That
can
too.
help someone.
I'm following the muddy footprints.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
The muddy footprints appear to
split up.
tear in and out of the door immediately to your right. So if you'd like to head into there, and who's going in and who isn't?
I will go in.
I will follow you.
I think we'll all go in.
I have my
I'm gonna
torch.
split this party.
I have my faith.
Jim, do you want
Yes.
to just try? Apparently, the opacity on the lighting layer might be a bit low. Like that might
Oh.
be why it didn't work.
Okay, I can give that a try, absolutely. Can I get my lovely Roll20 assistant to help me out with that?
Hey!
Thank you very much. In fact, while we figure this out, probably a good time to talk about the charity that all of this wonderful gaming is supporting. So you should absolutely check out Take This. They are wonderful. They are working on the destigmatization and support of mental health in the games industry and in the gaming community at large. They're an absolutely wonderful crew, and if you'd like to support them, you can check out the t-shirt that we had in the corner earlier and that we will jump back to shortly. All of the proceeds from that are going towards Take This. They're really cool. Check them out.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Horror and
So Jim, it
terrible
should
things.
be in the page
I
settings.
did it, I think.
Oh, you've
I
done
think
it?
I've done
all
Or
right,
the-
let's go.
So you need to click on one of us and then.
My selection appears to not be happy about me selecting you, and I'm not sure why.
Kind of like if they know what's going on. We don't.
Yeah, I would.
All right,
leave
we're
as
going to
is.
leave it like this, just for. We'll continue on.
I can see a little bit of the room on the right.
Okay, excellent. So the room on the right is just ahead of you. You're going to jump into the room on your right. And as you move in, you're immediately confronted with a hell of a sight. First of all, as your lights pass over the entire room, you can see that in the center there are 2 dead bodies.
Oh.
All right, the first of them is sort of collapsed into a small chair that sits at the corner of the room, and it is quite an old man in what looks like sort of an evening wear kind of thing. He's quite formally dressed, but his shirt, which is already a dark color, is soaked with crimson blood that has now dried out and sort of turned a dull red. He's leaning against the chair and he's completely slumped. With trauma that has been inflicted upon his arm. Looks like he's been shot. Lying on the ground right next to him is a young man, and he is wearing the same kind of looks like they were purchased at the same place, identical clothing as Billy. Heavy boots, slacks, coat, all that kind of thing. Very much a burglar attire, but he is completely frozen, and he is sort of holding himself still, and his eyes are bloodshot red. His veins are all standing out starkly. He has been drawn in. His ribs are now sort of poking through at his shirt, which hangs loosely about him. He looks like he's been drained, quite literally drained of vitality. And I want to need everybody to make a sanity test.
But he's dead.
Neat.
So he hasn't been eaten as in like chewed on.
Yeah,
He's
he is
been.
dead.
I
Exactly.
succeed.
He's been
I
slurped.
succeed.
And if you would like to get a sense of their clothing, I'm going to share something with you.
Ooh, thank you. Ooh.
Right.
This would be
Moments
prior
before.
to the horrible.
Is that should I luck 9? It's like 13 points.
Well, you've already lost
Sanity
4,
roll.
so you're starting to get relatively close to a mishap. But I'll leave that up to you. If you lose,
I would desperately like to see a mishap.
If you lose a fifth of your sanity in a single day,
I'm gonna
You're
use
gonna go
13.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
man,
gonna listen to the Game
straight
Master
dead.
weirdly on that one. Done.
That's all you need.
That's all you
That's
need.
all you need.
That's
It's
all you
great.
need. Love the fun touch. All right.
all right. So you continue to come into the room. You look around. You see those bodies.
Do I see any weapons on the floor?
Make a
Oh,
spot
yeah.
hidden check for me.
No.
Nice.
Success.
Okay. Yes. Actually, you can see to one side, lying as if it has been completely abandoned. There is a shotgun. The second one lying on the ground. There is also to one side, partially lodged inside a chest of drawers, having shattered the wood. There is a Jimmy bar. Or what's commonly known as a crowbar, but I had someone pedantically explain to me, and I very much
Jemmy.
appreciate it. Jemmy bar, is that it? Okay, well I'm still the fool.
Well,
But
it
a Jemmy
wasn't
bar.
called
Is that what they
a
called it
crowbar
back
So
until-
a crowbar is
Crowbars are the great big
crowbars
ones.
are massive. They're like bigger than you. But a Jemmy bar is the sort of Gordon Freeman Half-Life 2 is a
Right.
Jemmy bar. So there you go.
And we got a
Sort of
Half-Life
fun,
debate.
sort of
Wow.
fun fact nobody likes.
Exactly.
I Jimmy bar, belt the Jimmy bar, and
Yep.
pick up the shotgun and compare the size. Is it bigger?
Make a luck check.
Is it?
I want to make a luck check.
I've
it
lost a bit of
loaded?
luck.
You
I
can check
succeed.
into it.
I succeed. Can I use 3 luck to have a hard success?
Yeah, you absolutely. If you want to
Hell
use luck,
yeah.
slightly
That's-
bigger shotgun.
It's worth it. It's totally worth it. Maybe. Done.
You've got 37 left.
Swap.
Nah.
All right. So the collection of you are now stands around the body. If you
Okay.
pass that check, by the way, that sanity check, you're just going to lose 1 cent.
Oh, so we still lose 1.
You're still going to lose 1.
A small
Little
amount.
tickle.
I can take a tickle.
Oh, man. All right. Is there a box on the floor?
Yes.
I'm looking for that.
In the back corner of the room, you can see a large chest. It appears to be made of some kind of metal, and as you get closer, it's like a very thick, heavy metal. And around the seams, the lid lies off to one side. Around the seams is kind of a wax, which has clearly been broken and torn open. Around the box as well are faint signs of like burning or an electrical burn. It's the kind of thing that would appear around a fuse box when it blows out, which you would be familiar with as someone who is familiar
Is
with
that electrical repair skill?
coming in.
I pointed out.
Okay, nice.
Fuse box.
Oh,
Similar.
I would like to be closing the eyes. of the
Okay,
corpses.
so you lean forward and you close the eyes on both the bodies. The old man's eyes close peacefully, and he kind of leans back. He looks weirdly. He looks just so tired. And
He was shot,
He was
right?
shot.
Where the,
You think that it looks like. I mean, you could determine more if you made a first aid or a medicine check, but it looks to you like he has
He's been
bled out
shot,
as a result of his injuries.
Whoops.
all right, I'm gonna get this box and start pulling it out.
The other one very quickly. Eyes are like rigor mortis locked, and you end up kind of
Oh.
scrambling at them. And it's gooey and it's horrible, and it's
Come on.
you're pulling on the eyelashes, and they're
Come on,
coming
big
out.
piece
So
of
one of them is has been killed a lot earlier.
Well, one of them has been like drained or something, is I think
And the other guy was
shot.
shot.
One, has,
Okay.
one has been killed in an earthly fashion, and the other has been killed in a.
Yeah, thanks, Quago. So I would align myself up against the cross-laden lady, as I now can no longer obviously hold my flashlight. I've got
Okay.
My gun and I'm still next
So
to.
I'm going to assume that the two of you are paired and the two of you are paired.
Yeah,
basically.
so
Flashlight and
is-
gun, flashlight and gun.
Is the box heavy?
You walk over to it and you grab it and you go to lift it. It's quite heavy. You could move it if there were two of you, but it's pretty heavy.
Because I mean, we need to get the lights back in the box, and well, I mean that's the theory number
No,
one.
I
If any
agree.
of you had any chemistry or sort of knowledge of the sciences, you might be able to guess what it is.
Can I just quickly ask? Luke's picked up a shotgun. Does
Yes.
that mean he now can no longer hold his flashlight?
Yes, exactly. So that's why he's paired.
I
Yeah,
had
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Also, as you check it, it has only one shot in it. The other one has been
one
spent.
shot.
Yeah.
Best.
I'd rather have one bigger one than 4 little ones.
All right. So let's drag this chest out, and I want to see if it can be hoisted or I don't know.
Yeah, you can grab this chest. You need to put away your shotgun. So I'm just tracking who's armed and who's not.
Okay, hang on. Let's just slow down. Why do they have a big box with a giant
I
light?
don't know, but I'd like it to be back in it.
Okay.
But no. I genuinely, this doesn't
there-
make any sense. There's probably some weird ritual
Is
going
there
on
anything
here.
around near the box, like journals, writings of
Um,
some
journals.
kind?
So make me a spot hidden check.
Nope.
Okay.
Fail.
Look,
man.
this room there is nothing in, but that doesn't mean that somewhere else doesn't have
Okay,
something
cool.
in it. You reckon that you might be able to find something, and viewers, I'm going to show you where something is.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
cool. I'm not going to look at the screen.
Look at it.
Right.
Screen.
Well, then we found the altercation. This is where it happened. So maybe let's head back out into the hallway.
Alright.
Keep looking.
Who's got the box?
I don't know that we're gonna move. I don't know.
Are we taking
How
pictures?
is it like portable?
How big is it?
Yes, but you'll need to be like 2 people need to be carrying it, and
I
you won't be
think
carrying
we-
One of the
anything
two
else.
people with the torches hold it in the other hand.
There's no handles. It'd be a 2-man thing. You could.
Alright,
know,
let's leave it for the time being. Then I'd rather be armed and able to see.
It's not portable enough that you can just carry it around with you and still be
Yeah.
active. You
Okay.
can move it. It's portable, but yeah, exactly.
I would like to somehow secure my crucifix to it.
Okay. You can.
Sure.
You basically just pop it on the top and sort of wedge it into some of the wax, and it seems to stop there.
Excellent.
That'll
That'll come in handy later.
Now, what is your power as you get close to the
Oh,
box?
that's a good question. My power is around about 50.
Okay.
I would say that's
so
average.
as you get close, you just get this intense sense of unease come over you
Yeah.
as you get to the box. But that's all that happens. You're just like, oh, something is wrong with this. This isn't nice.
Crucifix will help with that.
Exactly.
Kind of hurt.
So you've moved back into the hallway. You can see a room towards your right. You can see another couple of rooms towards your left. You would guess by the layout of the house that over to the left is where the bedrooms will be, maybe
Yeah.
some personal studies or something like that, and to the right would be like a kitchen and dining area.
I would like to go see if there's like a study or something.
Okay, so you head straight ahead. So based on your sort of expectations, you would guess that the 2 doors immediately to your left, up at the top of the house and up at the bottom of the house, are both studies. Which one would you like to jump into?
Split up, cover more ground.
Cool. That has never gone wrong in any piece of fiction ever. Let's. I'm gonna go to the bottom one.
Okay, so into the bottom one. All right. Will you please move everyone through into the bottom one, please, my lovely Roll20 assistant?
Yes.
Everyone, or are we splitting up?
Yeah,
Are
we.
you Splitting up, or are you moving together? What's the go? Well, 2 of you could go into the top, 2 of you could go into the bottom if you'd like.
I think we should split up.
You've got the duty of
I
professor.
think we should split up.
You got the power of the Lord. I got the power of this.
Okay. All right. So looks like split up is in order.
Split up.
So people move. Oh, just the one to the right of that, please.
I don't know. What
Didn't
was
see anything. Didn't see anything.
Be cool.
You saw nothing.
Did we
You
just-
saw nothing.
did
No,
you
I
just face to the
actually
wall?
didn't see anything.
Yeah, as you watch your companion to begin to be picked up by invisible hands, moved scarily through the walls.
Alright, so I am on the one on the right with Bentworth, and I'm
Okay.
standing in the doorway and I'm pointing my light. I can actually like point my light in different ways and see.
Just
how
suss
much-
them out.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
So, Jesse and Bentworth. The 2 of you are in the top room, and as you walk in, you realize that this is a study, and this is clearly the study of a physician or some kind of thing. You can see over to one side there's a bunch of anatomical textbooks. There's a lot of sort of like paperwork and stuff, and you can see to one side placed on a desk there is a large sort of set of files and folders containing a bunch of different information. One of you can search the room and make a spot
I would
hidden
love to make a spot hidden check, but
Okay.
I'd also love to make a literature check to discern the nature of the study happening in the room.
Excellent. You make the spot hidden.
I'd love
into
to. Okay,
literature. Meanwhile, the two of you, as you move further down, you realize that you have walked into what appears to be Amelia's room. There are some journals and stuff around there. It's very clean. It doesn't really look that lived in. There's not much furnishings. There's not much stuff, and you can actually see on the desk there appears to be just like very neat piles of paperwork, none of which have really been touched. Would you two like to search the room as well?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we'll do similar.
Okay, so spot
Try to
hidden
have a
check.
literature
If you're
thing.
both working on it, you can take it that roll with advantage.
You roll twice.
Oh my god, library use at 97? That's awful. That's my best stat.
I failed. I
Failed?
failed all of them.
Okay.
We
Either
all
luck or push. Push would mean you're just like
Oh,
throwing things away.
It's gone.
But if you
Yeah, I could luck. There's only 9 points, so I'll luck it, and it'll be a success.
You want to spend 37 points of luck to find your book?
To not fumble.
Don't.
Oh no, it's not a
Not
fumble.
gonna do it.
Okay.
Not gonna do it, bruh.
All right. So let's start with you two first.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that you do as you go through is basically it really is like she hasn't been here. Specifically, it's because she hasn't. You ultimately find a bunch of sort of letterheads and correspondence from somewhere called the Boston Society for the Care of Girls. And it seems to indicate that she was living there up until recently and has only just come back.
Right.
Now, can I get both of you to make an education test?
Yep. Nice. I succeeded.
Well done.
Jim, my education is 7.
Oh,
Put a
that is
zero
a
after.
misprint.
What?
You are very uneducated.
Hope you enjoyed preschool.
So,
Let's try that again.
you can try that again. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, that's a success.
Okay, so both of you succeed. Now, you would know this particular facility just by reputation. The Boston Society for the Care of Girls is a fancy way of saying sanatorium.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
basically
okay.
a mental
They
hospital.
have a lot of fancy ways
I
to
know.
say sanitarium.
Yeah, exactly. So not a great sign. It appears that Amelia has just come back from there recently, but that is the only information that is contained within this specific area. Now, meanwhile, the two of you, how did you go on your literature check?
Awfully.
Awfully. Okay. So.
I was looking forward to my first literature roll, and
Yeah. So you're looking through, you're tearing down these books, you're beginning to flip through them, and unfortunately, you're just mystified. It seems that all of this, really detailed and wonderful literature is mixed up with bizarre books about the occult. I wonder why that could be. What about you? How do you go?
Just fine. I'm
Okay.
quite hidden.
So as you're going through the desk, on the other hand, you begin to go through things. You eventually find a small journal to one side, which is sort of given a sort of a clean area, and there's a pen next to it. As you flip it open, you begin to see that it is a full journal with lists upon lists upon lists of names and details of procedures. But as you start to look deeper into it, you can see that occasionally these procedures deviate from the norm. And there appears to be some odd symbology around them, symbols that you could only recognize as occult symbols. Do you have any occult skill?
I would love to, but I don't.
Okay. Well,
I got a 5.
I mean, you're not an experienced occultist. If you can think of another thing that you might be able to roll to decode what is in this journal, but it appears to be something to do with these procedures. And one of these symbols, the only one that you can recognize, was also printed on the inside of the lid of the box.
Ooh.
So it appears to be this box was being used
I
in
am a
procedures.
history student. Can I figure out what period or culture it's from?
Yeah, well, you can figure out. Yeah, that you can figure out. You can figure out the history and the period. Absolutely.
May I?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Success.
Nice.
Okay. So with that success, you've managed to figure out that this is essentially like pseudo history. this is something new that has tried to have history applied onto it. Some of the symbology you recognize as some of the markings that John Dee, a famous English astronomer and the court wizard of Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, put together and developed into a language which was revitalized recently to your time period by people like Aleister Crowley and other famous occultists like that. So this is basically like the equivalent of modern day Wicca and kind of stuff like that. That's a very bad analogy because Thelmidism, Crowley's religion, are very different from Wicca. But the idea it's a modern take on something that is much older.
Excuse me, did you say court wizard?
Yes, I did. They're the markings that were one of the languages of the court wizards of Queen Elizabeth. So there you go. You just recognise that
They
language.
had court wizards.
Is Elizabethan times.
In Elizabethan times, they did. John Dee. He was the court alchemist.
Okay.
Because alchemy was illegal to practice anywhere else because the rich of Europe were terrified of the prospect of people, like if the poor suddenly figured out how to turn lead into gold, then they're like, stop that! So they made
court wizard looks fantastic on a business card.
alchemy.
On the LinkedIn.
Yeah, so alchemy was banned except by the crown heads of Europe, who allowed it to be practiced by
the
certain
rich
people.
get richer.
Well, they didn't, although sometimes a few key fraudsters pretended that they figured out the solution and were like, oh, I've got it, and everyone was like, yay, and then they'd get beheaded.
As was the fashion of the time.
Oh, yes, of course.
That's just the kind of education you can expect from this table.
Exactly.
I'm having a great time.
All
Still
right.
scared.
Still scared. Okay,
All right.
good.
Well, he seems to have gotten mixed up in some terrible Satanistic practices, and
Right.
it seems he may have gotten lucky.
Right. Can you kill it?
I can't read it per se, but
You can't read it.
No, I thought you were the languages professor.
Can I try and read it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You can use your. I believe you have an Egyptian skill, unless I am mistaken.
Two. It's bloody high.
Oh, neat.
You can use your Egyptian skill.
Oh no, it's the lowest one. Oh no, the second lowest. What did we get?
Oh, you failed, bro. Oh, wow.
I am really the roll
It's
is
real close.
You were
bad.
you were trying to read through it, but you have no idea what is going on.
Yeah.
Basically, these symbols don't mean anything. The best you can get is maybe it means assassin or something like that. But
assassin.
yeah, you're not sure of the details.
I don't like that we don't know where this thing is and where the box is. Can we go back to the other room with the box and just make sure it's ready to go?
Sure.
Because I'm not reading journals. We're studying up in school.
Read that book.
We're going to head back to the room with the box, and I want to check out windows and things and just make sure that nothing's
we had the muddy,
sneaking up on us.
We had the muddy footprints.
We did have the muddy footprints.
Where they came in.
Okay. So as you are moving back out towards the main part of the house, all of a sudden, each of you see in the distance, emanating from the now open door, a faint glowing light.
Yeah.
Coming straight through, the light is beginning. And now, if I've done this right, you should see on your maps
Whoa!
a faint bit of lighting as something begins.
Jim, can
to
we try
approach.
one more time to get this lighting
Absolutely.
thing?
Let's give this a shot.
It was told to us before.
It's
you need to be
updated on my screen. Yours looks different. Do you want to refresh your page
Let's
or
do
something maybe? Which might kill everything, but
Nah, be
Because
fine.
you need to be on the token layer.
We really want to show you this because it
Yeah.
is so cool. It is just so cool. This
Thanks to Roll20.
So because we were on the lighting layer, we need to be on the token layer, and then it should.
there we go.
light
That's
things.
updated. That looks different.
That's
now,
better.
No, click on
Oh,
someone's and hit
shit.
Control L.
So
James?
click on
like
Lois.
There we
Did it
go.
work? There we go.
Nice.
Perfect.
That's what we see, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm scared.
We did
That's
it.
some beautiful dynamic
Oh, fuck,
lighting
it looks
right
so
So
there.
if
cool.
I turn my torch away, and if someone else, you turn your torch away.
Yeah,
it's
they disappear.
And there's
You've
something
seen
We
coming
can still
in.
see it.
But I'll tell you what,
This
you've
is
seen
glowing.
the token
Oh,
so
hey, whoa.
forced and terrified. Your eyes are drawn, and suddenly, outside the room, you can see approaching this great ball of. It's not quite light. Light is the wrong word for it. It's a bubbling protoplasmic mess. The kind of light that you see when you look directly into a star, or into a sort of nebula, the strange sort of twisting, shimmering distortment of reality. Great bubbles pop on its surface, and as they do, they almost seem to form into mouths and eyes as it approaches towards you. It's big. It is bigger than a person with their arms outstretched, and it's moving, and there is this great high-pitched ringing noise that starts to shriek in your ears like a high-pitched radio frequency as you see it, and it is moving towards you with a singular and determined sense of purpose.
Box.
Go.
Everyone make sanity checks.
I would like to run to the box.
You'll make a sanity check
shoot.
first, but
Yeah,
great
cool.
idea. I highly
Whatever.
recommend you do that.
Oh, neat, I failed.
Me too, thanks.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
Nita failed.
Someone in chat said lava lamp. Not a bad description, really, but with more horror and twisting. It kind of looks like,
Yeah.
flesh bubbling. It's
Like a lava lamp with like an octopus stuck inside it.
Exactly. A lava. Oh gosh.
What if lava lamps, but awful?
Yeah.
Okay,
Lois is fine.
we failed.
We all
Okay.
suck.
So those of you who have passed are going to take just one more sanity. Those of you who have failed are going to take a d6.
Oh.
Yo.
I'm hoping to see some people go insane.
Me too.
3.
6.
Well done.
And you are already right on the edge, and you've just taken a big. Leaves 10 sanity.
Oh
Oh.
man.
Can you roll
Bad
me a
luck.
d6?
So
It's not
I started on
firing
50
on.
sanity,
40.
so I'm in trouble when I lose 10.
Okay.
In one day. Is that
It's just
right?
not
That is
firing.
correct.
I'm on 8 now.
Oh, close. Okay.
1.
Okay, I lost one.
Okay, you're going all right. So the three of you are managing to hold yourselves together. Just. But as you gaze at this thing, you are suddenly overwhelmed. What is it in your mind that snaps as you see this ball of light approaching you?
So Bentworth, upon approaching a room that is dusty, that smells of learning, of symbols, of writing, and not being able to read a damn thing, is questioning his entire existence.
no.
Do I
Profession.
suck?
He doesn't even know if he's here anymore. He thinks he may have left his persona back at the cafe on the floor with Jake.
Okay.
Just want to point out, he's also, it's 1/5 of your sanity.
Yeah, oh,
he's
he's-
1 point from.
Just indefinite insanity.
Yeah.
But you've also taken 6 in a hit, which is over 5 in a hit, which means that you will still go temporarily insane. So as you stare at this thing, this great bubbling cry comes out. Can we get your best terrified scream impression? Well done.
What?
I would like you to roll an intelligence test. This is how
Just went past the
insanity
window.
works when you have a bout of insanity. You make an
Success.
intelligence test. Okay,
don't
that
want
is
that.
the worst thing you could
Oh,
have done.
yeah, you wanna fail
so,
that shit.
as you go insane, your mind desperately tries to think of a reason why it's not seeing what it's seeing. It tries to explain it away. It tries to go into denial. But you're too smart. You've figured it out. And you've figured out that this is actually just as horrible as you think it is, which means you have gone insane. I need you to roll a d10 for me.
Cool. 2.
2. Okay. So, now, what happens with rolling insanity in Call of Cthulhu is that you roll a dice on a table of various things. You can get options like flee and panic, psychosomatic illness, spontaneously develop a mania or phobia. But what I like to do is to make things a little bit more difficult is I roll a dice as well and I add that so people are never sure what they're getting. So you're not going to roll number 2. In fact, you're going to roll...
Worse.
You're going to roll
11.
11, which is going to equate for you to a bout of insane courage.
Hey!
Yay!
That's not
So
bad.
you are all suddenly you are monologuing like a hero. You're like, ah, I have found you, creature. And you are just completely convinced of your own abilities. Whatever you feel your character is best in, you are now certain that you are going to be completely dominant at it. Pick something that you think you're good at.
Time for another shot.
And how you can solve it. Well, that could be it. You could just say, I will read and I will study and run back. In fact, I think let's go with that. So you can now...
Yeah. Latin.
Okay.
I
Like
know
in the
more
dark.
Latin words than this creature does, and Latin is the dead language. Therefore, I'm more.
You are more undead than it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So functionally, you will roll all Latin checks with advantage because you were so your
my
confidence
Why
is
didn't I
half the
choose
battle.
firearms?
And
I didn't know I was going to
Latin.
get that.
Do you want some Latin phrases?
Carving out
Very
the tall
astonished.
town creatures.
Yeah.
Carpe diem.
Hey.
Hey.
Carpe diem, yeah. What's the
Specifically the
word
diem.
for shotgun? If there was, it would be carpe shotgun.
Seize the shotgun. Excellent. All right. So, with that in mind, and before we do anything, let me just show
Shoot this
you
flipping thing.
this.
Do we want to see it?
Oh, that's what I see.
Oh man.
That's, what
That's
we-
you
what-
running.
That's, what we also, that's me. Yeah.
That is a lava lamp octopus. I don't know
Yeah,
how else
kind
I
of is.
describe that.
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. Now, let's get to some interesting stuff.
Oh.
We're going to jump to dex order. I would like everyone to tell me their dexterity.
Yeah,
That is
40.
40. Do we
My
have to
dex
roll
is
off?
50, yo.
50?
Yeah.
Sorry, 70.
Okay, so you're going to go first just because you're younger. I'm going to make that ageist ruling.
Wow.
Wow.
In terms of speed for this. This creature has a dexterity of 80,
Oh my.
which means that it moves forward and it is a bubbling, hissing, fizzing mess as it goes. Can you please move it up along the hallway towards
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
please
going to
don't.
get close. And now, let's see on our lovely dynamic lighting grid who is closest.
me.
It is
Jesus.
you. Well done.
Oh, no.
You are the proud winner of this thing's attack. And you will be
You're gonna
rewarded
get
with.
dusted.
no, I'm
It
fine.
suddenly begins these great long tendrils of light that look almost like tentacles begin to fly out and slap in against you, burning against your skin as they go. It is going to
Slapping.
make.
I was gonna do this, but I realized it looks really weird on the.
What side does it come in from?
It's
Oh,
like-
'cause it's
it
yellow.
goes that way. And then that way.
You gotta go this way, I guess.
Yeah.
Counterintuitively.
It is going to make one attack against you, fortunately, not
Okay,
striking
that's
you
not
with
too
these
bad.
tentacles 4 times, which would probably kill you. Instead, it's going to make this attack, and it is going to fail. So a tendril whips above your head, but you're sort of backing away, and as it slams into the wood around, great discharges and singes electricity. You know those wood-burning things where they connect two things?
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. As it touches them, they... And it's wonderful. It looks really, really cool, but it's going to kill you if it touches you.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
this is going to take off in the 60s.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. People go, whoa, it's great.
Writing down business ideas.
Exactly.
We should have
what if
these
we
in our home.
Put this in a bottle. And then we
That's why it was in the
sold
box.
You heard it
Who's
here
making
first.
lava
All
lamps?
lava lamps are secretly deadlights that have been
Oh.
trapped. If you break the glass, we all die.
Nice.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
I'll shoot this flipping thing.
Okay.
Blap, blap. I'm up close. It doesn't really have like a center of mass, but I'll do my best. Just straight roll. Do I have advantage, James?
Shooting one of the eyes.
Yes, you are close. It is a bright shining light, so you can see it really easily, and you are close to it, so you can use point blank range. So you do have advantage.
Good chow.
Now, everybody on this screen will be able to see that we are people who are on my side wants to kill them all.
Don't
We are
worry,
well
guys. I
defended.
killed it. Bang.
How'd you go?
Yeah, success.
Success. Okay, so there's a great explosion as your shotgun fires off. One of your precious shots firing away. There is a great blast as the bullets slam into it. I would like you to roll. So you are very close to this creature. You are considered a point blank range.
Yep.
If you are long distance with shotgun, you deal 1d6 damage. If you're mid distance, you deal 2d6. This will be 4d6 damage.
Boom.
Very close range.
Yo!
Now,
Yeah.
also, I am aware, everybody who is watching, that we have just hit 10:30. We since
4:30.
exactly. Oh yeah, 10:30 at our end.
Because we're upside down in the
In
show.
the
Exactly.
morning.
Yeah, it's early. We were all having coffee and getting into it. We are at the climax, obviously. So since there is no one after us, we're going to push out a little bit. Please stick around and see how this ends.
Yeah, I got 11 points of damage.
Oh, wow. Okay. So with 11 points of damage. So first of all, you slam into it, and a bunch of the shot kind of disintegrates on the surface, blowing up and exploding. But a couple of the heavier chunks of lead slam into
Nice.
it, and great sprays of what look like liquid, but then turns to gas after a second in the air, launches out the back, and it kind of staggers forward slightly.
Nice,
You
nice.
have hurt it quite badly.
Okay, good.
It appears, and it begins to leak, fizzing like a balloon that's lost part of its water, and it's spraying this acidic kind of like crackling mist around the whole area. All right.
It's my turn. I kind of want to get the box, but I feel like I don't have enough strength to grab
Well,
it.
you can try. Do you want to sprint over to it?
Yeah, I would like
so you
to
get
go.
over to the box and you grab it. Now, I'll get you to make a strength check.
Cool.
You will have to make one. I apologize.
That's okay. My strength's actually pretty decent.
Extreme success. You toss your stuff. Not rolling so well, all of you. You grab this thing, you just pick it up in one hand. There's no good handles, but you're just pinching it with some extreme grip strength. You grab the lid and you begin to tear back out. In moments, you're back in the open and this thing is still there, fizzing and bubbling, clicking along.
I've been making like super chemistry protein shakes in my dorm.
Exactly. Over here.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that's just called steroids, but
As the box is coming out, can I try to? I'm going to pull out my Bible and flip it open and try to use it to like siphon it toward the box.
to
I
corral
thought-
the thing
yeah.
out.
I thought he was going to try and smite it.
That's basically what you do. I mean, okay, I'll let you roll either a hard power check or an intimidate check.
Oh dear, neither of those are fantastic, but power is slightly better.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Hard
Show me
power,
what we
that's
got.
doable. That's doable.
But you have to consider, I am one with the Lord, and His power is mine.
Exactly.
So you should roll.
Here
Lord's
is a
power.
reading from Psalm 97. Get fucked,
the
giant mass.
big
Out
old
of my house.
ball.
So,
You suck.
so saith the Lord.
So you were chanting, you were screaming. Is your voice coming through high, like kind of freaked out and high pitched, or are you getting still confident and
No,
believing?
yeah, I'm doing
Yeah.
okay.
You're
I'm
doing
okay.
alright.
Because, I've just seen it explode, so I'm just like, trying to
I'm working through
siphon it back together. Like, you've weakened it, I can push it.
100%.
push
You were
it
chanting.
forward.
You believe. You have this. You were yelling. And I'll tell you what. If you had succeeded, I would have given you advantage because you were so inspired by divine fervor. As it is, he's yelling right in your ear.
Yeah.
So you will just have, and it is your turn.
It's my turn. All right. I have the gun in my hands. I'm overconfident in my Latin.
Yes.
I scream at this creature, "Inanimus Veritas!"
Oh.
Which
Ah.
is, in courage lies the truth.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic.
Well
And
done.
I take my shot.
All right. Howling in Latin, you fire off a righteous blast.
Now I have two, a handgun or RS?
It'd be RS.
All right.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
rifle shotgun.
shotguns.
Yeah.
And is
And
there
it's
advantage on
safe.
this
Oh,
one?
you
Fail.
There is advantage on this, so roll again, and
Rolling.
if the other one succeeds, you will succeed.
So just do another green one, yeah.
Double
No,
fail.
unfortunately. There's a great shot, and the walls above explode out. A rain starts lashing inwards now. Suddenly you're
man.
all getting wet, and the cold is whipping in through the open door. And as the water lands, it starts to electrify all around you. This creature is still coming. It is still moving. All right, so it is going to attack either one of you based on a roll. So 1, 2, 3, 4. As it moves in closer, the tendrils going out. It's going to roll 1d4.
I was getting right up close to it. If that
1, 2. So you have got the box and it
Lucky
sees you
number
and it
two.
darts in. Clearly it does not like you moving this thing. The
Excellent.
tentacles lash out once again and they're going to strike out 2 times this time.
Fuck.
It's going toward the box.
Yeah, but and also me. No, that's fine. I'm fine.
It
I'm
wants
willing
to
to
go
die
hard.
tonight. As of right now.
Alright,
Yeah.
so the first strike comes back. This thing is rolling terribly and slams in. You actually catch it on the lid of the box, and whatever discharge doesn't go through the box. It kind of just catches. So that's kind of cool. But then the second one, as you're defending one, wraps around and grabs onto your thigh, and you feel this horrid jolt just go through your entire body, and you can't help but scream out in pain. You are going to take 3 damage, and you get one of those lovely wood burn patterns going up through your veins. Sort of like you kind of but you're holding on. It's not that bad, really grand scheme of things. And as you're going, this almost like deep thrumming heartbeat is coming from this creature, and the light is blinding. Your torches are completely unnecessary at this stage.
So now we can use them as weapons.
Bonk. Alright, I think it's me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless it has
please.
more.
No,
Unless it has
yeah.
more terror to inflict.
Get it.
Can I drop the gun and attempt to jam it into this with? Can we both sort of
Absolutely.
over the head and?
All right. So this is going to take both your turns because you both go first.
Yep.
So I would like you to make a first of all both.
Flippin' huge.
You can make a fighting brawl check with advantage because
Okay.
you're first,
Fighting brawl with advantage. Ooh, I'm actually pretty good at this.
and you are going to be contributing to this advantage. Is that all
Right.
right? You've actually the crucifix is still hanging off the
It
box, so you've got that there, and you can see the electricity slamming on. As far as you're aware, this is proof.
It's working.
You held up the crucifix and it
Oh
blocks the
my
tentacle.
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use 1 point of luck to make it a crit.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This
mean,
is
no.
like the 10 crit session. All right, that is so cool. Awesome. So,
Throw something harder at us, Jim.
oh yeah, come
Oh.
on. So you jump
Lava
through and
lamps.
you grab this thing and you start to. It starts to sort of get sapped in, and specifically, it's getting absorbed in through the hole that you blew in it, right?
Oh.
It is and kind of getting drawn out, and it's as if I had like a balloon and I was pulling out the insides or like pulling out the stuffing and sucking it through, and it's like deflating. It looks furious. The tentacles begin wrapping around, slashing out furiously. You've got the base and you're shoving it forward. You with your massive strength, you've got the top, and you're basically smacking it again and again, trying to just get the lid to shut. What are the two of you doing? You first.
Just like
Screaming.
scooping all the other bits. Like,
Okay.
Just shoving it in with the Bible pages.
Okay, you grab in. All right, make a fighting brawl test for me.
Come on. We're good.
Good. Fighting brawl. Oh, it's excellent.
Yeah.
That's great. Success.
Success.
Okay.
So your hands dive in, you grab, you feel this horrible burn shoot up them. Now, this thing only really affects organic matter. So the Bible is fine, which to you is just more proof that all of this is correct. But as the electricity gets, you're going to take just a single point of damage, a little blackening under the nails as you shove this thing in. There's now just one tendril, which is sort of yearning and turning into its mouth, roaring, and now it is your go, and this thing is looking towards you.
I drop my shotgun if you want it.
I pick up his shotgun.
Double shotgun.
Yeah, I probably don't have enough time to load a shot into the spent gun, do I?
Yeah, so you've got his.
I've got
You
his,
use
but
mine.
can I use mine?
You can make a dexterity check.
No,
if you fail
no,
your-
Kill us
You will
all.
shoot yourself.
Okay, I will grab his shotgun, aim it into the mouth, jam the
Okay.
muzzle up into
Nice.
the mouth,
Oh
and
my.
pull the trigger.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness.
Can we get one badass Latin phrase, even if it's in English, and assume that it is translated into Latin?
Yeah. Eat this.
All right. Boom. And there is a massive explosion that rings out. Roll twice with advantage.
Roll twice. Oh, come on, give me one
Yeah, I
good
was just
shot.
doing the same thing.
Fail again.
Okay.
Oh,
You
no.
got- so that was both of them?
That's
all right.
both.
So,
Yep.
We looked it up and it's really weird, so we just won't say it.
okay, fair enough. There is a massive bang. But the bullets slam in, the creature kind of roils around them. And it is still fighting, it is still desperately trying to get away.
No, it's its turn.
And it is its turn, and it is going to use its other attack, Consume.
What?
And this great mouth goes out and echoing, you hear your own Latin come back at you as the folds of electricity wrap
Like
around
mimicking
your
me.
head and begin to try and coat in at you like that.
Oh man.
And that's a hard success.
Yay!
Can I get you to make a dodge check?
Oh no.
It's not good. It's not
That's
good.
not bad.
That's your disguise,
Oh my
dude.
Oh, that's oh wait, yeah, no, that's
No,
dodge.
you rolled the right thing.
Look
Sorry.
like someone
Yeah.
else.
That is... okay. So, I would like you to roll a d10 for me.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Yay.
Whoop.
5. So, you take 10 total constitution damage. So not hit points. You actually lower your
shit,
con by
man.
10 as you start to... You can only see... the outside of his body, but he begins to grow thinner. His hands begin to wrinkle, grow papery thin. You fall to your knees. As your skin pulls back across your eyes, you are being aged and consumed, literally.
Oh, no.
But these ones, it's so close, it's almost in. All right. To get this thing totally shut away, you need another 2 fighting brawls.
Okay.
And you have 3 of you.
Easy.
So
easy,
everyone make
easy.
a
Can we
fighting
just
brawl
all roll?
success.
Okay, cool. Ooh, mine's not too bad.
I rolled 3. I'll say it first. Yep, success
Oh
too.
shit. Oh no. Success for me.
Oh, well, I'll help.
not good for
And
I'll provide,
you
I'll
fail.
provide, you know,
cherry on top.
scriptural guidance.
Thank you.
You and damned is the creature. You are shouting as the 2 of you
All
with
that
2
good
successes managed to jam this thing. There is lightning exploding everywhere. All of you, because you are touching this thing pretty much undefended, are going to take another 2 damage. Yes, that's lightning kind of shooting along. And you don't have much health in Call of Cthulhu, so it's
We're
starting
okay,
to
we're
add
okay,
up.
we're okay.
But with this great sudden noise, The entire box shuts, it falls to the ground, you're plunged into darkness except for the lights that are still kind of coming from the flashlights that have dropped onto the ground. You have managed to defeat the monster. You have succeeded for now. Well done.
Oh man.
We did it.
Yeah.
Proud of us. Go team.
So, you have succeeded. You have survived the night. Well done. Congratulations. You will return over time to the cafe and sort of get back to some form of regular life, and the storm will eventually end. In the coming days, you'll probably postpone your trip back to Bolton to try and, get some semblance of sanity and normality back into your lives. But over time, you come to learn a few things. First of all, you managed to save Amelia. She didn't die. She was okay, and more so over, no one died inside the diner. So well done. You've protected these people, and you've made sure that none of them got killed.
Team.
What that would do in a long campaign is that would award you 1d6 sanity.
Nice.
We're not going to roll the extra sanity now because this is just a one shot.
Yeah.
Additionally, you managed to put to bed this creature and lock it back away. So, if you hadn't, it would have rampaged across the countryside, still killing people over the next coming weeks, and your sanities would have slowly eroded away as you read about its passing in the paper. But now comes the question, what do you do with the box?
Well, I've got a great idea for the 60s.
It's too
What
soon.
if we got some jars and then we scooped it?
I would try and return to that room with all the symbology, try and find some kind of protection symbol,
All right.
and inscribe it on the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over some time and study, you basically make efforts to put this thing to bed and never have it come out again. And eventually, maybe, I don't know, 5 years later, the two of you take a small cruise. Maybe you've not seen each other for a while, but you've come with this box and you drop it off over into the middle of the ocean, well tied, where it may never be picked up again and seen or held by human hands. Smart move. Most of the people survive. Now, Mary, the waitress who was totally part of that theft, did manage to escape. So she flees, she goes on the lam and escapes justice. Will she ever be heard from again? If this was a long campaign, definitely, because that's how you play RPGs. But as it is, she gets away, and Billy is sent to jail, unfortunately, for his role in 2 deaths.
Fortunately, I would say.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Unfortunate for him.
Now, Amelia, though she did survive, was quite disturbed by the experience, and the last you hear of her, she does go back to the fancily named sanatorium.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your lives continue as they did. You were investigators of the paranormal. So, can I get each of you to give a brief epilogue for your characters?
I returned to the study.
Yeah.
Bit worse for wear.
You've aged probably about 10 years.
10 years.
In a day.
I instantly find tartan makes me feel quite good.
Yeah.
I get a little flat cap.
Oh,
Nice.
fantastic.
And I find a walking stick, maybe. And
Beautiful.
and at one point I walk past a church, remembering the crucifix, look up, think about going in. Just keep walking.
Nice. What about yourself?
I, unable on that night to find a proper explanation for what that thing was, dedicate my studies to strange creatures and specifically the kind of biological processes that produce light in a vain and lifelong attempt to explain what I have seen.
I'm sure that if this was a long campaign, eventually your character would find themselves traveling down to Australia with books about the great race of Yith packed away inside their luggage. But that's a story for another time, I'm afraid. What about yourself?
Well, I've seen this thing that is just amazing power, and I have the clever decision to be like, maybe we can harness it or something. So if there's a time when I think I can get a little sample of it, I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to attempt to insert it into machines and things, a car and such, just in a testing sort of way.
Yeah, of
and in a
course.
good way. I'm not the villain of this story.
Fantastic. So you're doing your best to continue in study, but your life continues fairly well and ahead. What about yourself?
I would return to Winifred. and tell her about how a crucifix saved the day, obviously.
Of course
Yep.
you would.
But I also realized that like one of the Bible pages got a bit singed from the blinding light and the tentacles, and I realized like there's probably like a splash of ectoplasm from my last adventure as well, and so through the coming years, the pages of these Bible kind of chronicle all the terrible
That's cool.
terrible
that's
creatures
cute.
that it's being pushed up against. It becomes a very valuable artifact.
Oh, I'm
for
sure,
the-
and people
for
are
the future.
auctioning it down, and I'm sure there will be investigators down the line that begin their journey
Yeah.
by looking into this Bible.
They'll find Jesse Williams' Bible and it'll save him.
Exactly. That's the story. That is the Deadlight. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
joining
much.
us.
Thank you,
as
James.
well. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you for staying and watching with us. Thank you to everyone at Roll20Con for putting together this amazing convention, also for putting together this amazing software, which we've been able to use to have such a fun game. The dynamic lighting was fantastic. I'm
Yeah, that
so
was
glad we
super
got to
cool.
show that stuff at the end. Remember to check out Take This, really cool charity. And look, it's been a great day, so thank you for having us. But there's one more exciting thing to say. One little cool thing. Did you know that Roll20 and Chaosium are doing an official partnership? So you can now check out a new landing page for roll20.io/Call of Cthulhu, where you can pre-order the Keeper's Rulebook, and there's plenty of really exciting kind of things that are coming down the line. So get a hold of that. Thank you for joining
It's
us.
there now.
Thank you to everyone at Roll20. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.